The green flag coming at 1:03 Eastern Time. Now let's join the pre-race ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hats and remain standing this afternoon. We have our presentation of colors today by the 2nd 116th 29th Infantry Division from Lynchburg, Virginia. And at this time, please welcome Eddie Honeycutt of Raceway Ministries with their invocation.
Let us pray. Our Father, we thank you for the gift of this day, for life and health and strength. We pray today for safety, for drivers, crews, spectators. Pray you'd give us a good day of enjoying outdoor recreation. Thank you for the gift of life. We commit this day to your care. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Our Pledge of Allegiance this afternoon by Sergeant Michael McGrath.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God bless our troops.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Country Music Association Horizon and Song of the Year nominee, Josh Turner.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thirty-second race of the season, sixth event in the chase for the championship. Thanks for having us in for the race. Time to send it upstairs to three guys that are big on short tracks. Alan Bestwick, Wally Dellenbach, and Benny Parsons.
Bill, thanks a lot. We've been talking a lot and hearing from the drivers a lot about the resurfaced racetrack. How about a little refresher first as to why the racetrack had to be resurfaced? There was a pothole, just like you might get on your city streets in the middle of winter, but this one opened up in turn 3 in the middle of a Nextel Cup race. Not too good. And so they had to completely resurface the racetrack before this fall's race. BP, resurfacing's given the drivers fits.
It really has. These teams have struggled trying to find the handle on this brand new racetrack. And as today's race starts, they still have three huge concerns. Tire wear on a brand new facility. Brake heat, because the cars are traveling so much faster, they're overheating the brakes. And can anyone pass?
We know people are going to pass during the day. The question is, Wally, how are they going to do it?
Talking to some drivers like Mark Martin, use the bumper. That's a good way to pass. It's going to be very tough to pass on the outside, but I think you'll see a lot of aggression here. When the patience runs out, you're going to see a lot of guys getting into each other because it's going to be very, very tough. Everybody's going to be down on the bottom, and we see this happens a lot here, and I think it's going to happen a lot today.
Expecting a lot of caution flags. We'll see which of the championship contenders get caught up in those caution flags, if any of the top three come back to the field, or if they can further isolate themselves from the pack. Command to Start Engines is next. You're watching NASCAR on NBC. NBC Sports is live in Martinsville, Virginia, where the Subway 500 is about to begin. 5 races to go in the chase for the Nextel Cup. Who will succeed today in making Martinsville Speedway his house? Who will suffer problems and lose further ground in their hopes to hold on to the big trophy at season's end? Sellout crowd of 70,000 expected on a cool, overcast day. Now it's time to go trackside and get the race underway.
And now, for the most famous words in all of motorsports, your Grand Marshals, Jared Fogle and Gary Davis.
Gentlemen, start your engines!
Nicely done. And in perfect unison as well. So just a couple of moments before the green flag waves here at Martinsville. As I mentioned, a cool day. It's going to take a few extra minutes to warm the fluids in the cars and the tires as well once they begin rolling off. Wally, you were in Memphis yesterday, right?
Yes, I was.
NASCAR Busch Series race, so we had to find a substitute for your Wally's World Martinsville tour.
I'm sure that wasn't a problem.
I think we got somebody pretty qualified.
Good.
Well, I'm just filling in for Wally back this weekend, and going to show you one of my favorite racetracks, Martinsville Speedway. Let's go check it out. I got my crew chief, Robbie Loomis, here riding with me, so thought maybe he could learn a little something while we're here. One thing unique about Martinsville right now is that they just repaved this racetrack and new concrete in the corners, and it's given the track a lot of grip.
Get on the bottom now.
Really smooth.
Whoa, whoa.
Yes, buddy, I'm going to be on the bottom. Don't you worry. It's going to be pretty tough to pass this weekend, so you're going to see a lot of guys on the bottom of the racetrack, and I hope that outside group gets working, but we're certainly going to find out here. Heading into turn 3, one of my favorite spots on the racetrack for that concrete jumped right out in front of me the last time. I don't think we're going to have that problem this time. We've come from behind. We've had someone we just dominated this racetrack, and just staying out of trouble is half the battle. There we go. That's Martinsville Speedway with my crew chief, Robbie Loomis.
I don't know if that'd have been the same with Wally driving.
Can I second that motion?
I resemble that remark. I would have got it out of second gear, though.
Oh, is that right?
It looks like he was going a little bit slow there.
He had some handling tips for you on how to tune your car up for next time you come back to Martinsville. You might want to check with him on that.
I'm going to check with him.
All right. Cars getting ready to roll off here at Martinsville and begin their parade and pace laps.
65!
Budweiser, the official beer of NASCAR, proud to sponsor the Budweiser Pole Award, given to the fastest qualifier at each NASCAR Nextel Cup Series race. How about Ryan Newman? Another new track record, his 7th Bud Pole Award of the season. Budweiser congratulates Ryan Newman for this week's race, the latest.
And we see Rusty Wallace on the outside of row 1, alongside the track record holder of Ryan Newman. Back in row 2, we find Dale Earnhardt Jr. on the inside. He struggled at this racetrack when he first started, but Wally's had 5 top 5s in the last 5 races. And Ward Burton, local guy on the outside.
And track position is very important, especially at this racetrack, but especially today because of the new surface, and it's good to be up front.
And those guys, we says inside, are they happy?
Yes.
They're down there. Kurt Busch, Jamie McMurray on the outside, not a very good place to be.
Ricky Rudd, he gets around this place fairly well.
And he was one of the fastest cars in practice both Friday and Saturday.
Jeremy Mayfield, Jeff Burton, are another 2 guys that run this track real well.
Tony Stewart, he has 1 here. Brendan Gaughan, another Penske car on the outside of row 7.
And there you find Jeff Gordon, probably wondering where he is and why he's where he's at.
He's wondering himself why he's so far back, but at least he is on the inside.
And how he's going to get up to the front from where he is. Jimmie Johnson, one of the championship contenders, way in the back.
Harvick's car looked pretty good yesterday, and Childress and that team, they need a good finish.
Roush teammates, Rick Biffle, Carl Edwards. Think Biffle will let him in?
I don't think so.
Think so?
Mark Martin, at least he's on the inside. He's way back, but at least on the inside. As he said, maybe he can get a couple on the start.
Ditto for Matt Kenseth, way back in the field. Row 13. Terry Labonte's never won here. He's run well here. He's got like 5 second-place finishes, but he's never won here. Maybe today.
And Nemechek's on a little bit of a roll. He won at Kansas, 5th last week in Charlotte.
Dale Jarrett, he's got his work cut out for him. You know, he seems like he qualifies sometimes in the back here, but he normally finds his way up to the front before the race is over.
Yeah, he started 39th, finished 11th here in the spring, right? Bobby Hamilton Jr., Robbie Gordon going to come from row 18. Final qualifiers on time for this race were the row 19 starters.
And, you know, as well as Casey King ran last week at the Lowe's Motor Speedway, this is a reality check.
Yeah.
Starting 38th on the outside.
Quite a different place than Charlotte, mile and a half fast racetrack.
And the guys who get in on provisional starting spots, Spencer Bodine, Shelmerdine, Mario Gosselin, veteran Florida short track racer, former ARCA winner, and then Kevin LePage brings up the tail of the field. Dropping to the back, engine changes for Kevin LePage and Kirk Shelmerdine. They're both back there in provisional land anyway. And look at the list that failed to qualify. Big group of cars here.
7 cars came here, attempted to qualify, could not run fast enough.
They're scheduled to wave the green flag in 2 more laps. You see they've still got some of the jet dryers out on the track, and they're going to try and make sure the surface is in perfect condition to start this race, so we might get a couple of extended pace laps. Meantime, we head to pit road and check with Dave Burns.
Time to talk about some other drivers, Alan. How about Travis Quapple? He's a NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series driver who races for Bang Racing. Finished 21st in the race here yesterday after leading 61 laps. Well, he got a hall pass for one race from his owners to come race a Penske Nextel Cup car, and he's made the most of it. Qualifying 5th here today, Travis looks like he's on his way to greater and better things in this whole racing thing. But for now, he's a Truck Series driver making the most of a Nextel Cup start. Matt?
Hey, Bobby Labonte is a driver hoping for some good things to happen for a change. He hasn't gone to victory lane since Homestead, the season finale in 2003. He finished 2nd here back in the spring. 14 straight weeks without a top 10 finish. But Brandon Thomas, his crew chief, told me the car was very strong during both practice sessions on Saturday. It was great on long runs, and that's what they're hoping they get a lot today. This team is expecting good things today here in Martinsville. He starts 17th. To Marty Snyder.
Well, Matt, talk about your challenges. Dale Jarrett starts 32nd today, and we've heard everybody talk about how difficult it is to pass here this weekend at Martinsville. So how's he going to get to the front? Well, Mike Ford told me 2 ways. Number 1, patience, being very careful when he does try to pass someone. And number 2, pit stops. When they pit, they're hoping nobody else pits. They're going to do the opposite of what the leaders do. So when the leaders stay out, they're coming down pit road. When they take 4, they're going to take 2 tires until they get to the front, and then they're going to take what they think is a very good car and try and win with it. Bill?
Marty Elliott Sadler is having a dream season. 2 wins, 4th in the chase. Coming into 2004, his best finish in the championship standings, 22nd. Today he wants to flex his muscle in front of his home state fans. Every driver has his own private thoughts coming to the green. Can I make up spots in the chase? Can I pull off the upset? Did I feed the cats this morning? Every man for himself. Elliott Sadler has one thought right now. Win one on his home field. Upstairs, Alan.
And we're 1 lap from the green. Well, we were 1 lap from the green flag. Now they've not shown the one to go this time, so looks like they're still working for some confirmation for the drivers that the track's ready to go. NBCSports.com. BP, what'd you write this week?
Well, we talked about the preview of Martinsville and who I felt like might be a winner here this weekend.
And I've got a little look at some of the drivers I think you should keep an eye on in these final 5 races in the chase for the Nextel Cup. NBCSports.com. Here's another thing that'll be tough for drivers today, and that's this pit road. And watch it. Now, see, we didn't show this because we were saving time in Wally's World earlier. Watch when Jeff and Robbie were coming off the track yesterday after we taped their part.
Where is it, Robbie?
Here's going to be the tricky part, seeing our pit.
Where is it?
Come around. It's going to be right there.
Okay.
In front of that oak, where that 18 is.
Okay. So we got to stay ahead of who's behind us?
Put something on that wall.
Who's behind us?
I think Jimmie Johnson is the pit behind him, but he's got a little bit of an opening, and that's a big help here. These pits are very, very tight, and just, what is that, BP, 4 feet, 5 feet? That makes a big difference on this pit lane.
Exactly, because otherwise these cars are jammed up nose to tail. And if you don't have that opening, it's going to be difficult to get in or get out.
Bill says he measured it at 6 feet.
Why didn't I ask Weber? We knew he would have looked it up.
Yeah, you don't have to now.
Yeah, that's right. But that 6 feet makes a big difference. When you swing one of these big cars in those pit stalls, they look big from TV, but trust me, they're very, very tight.
Pace cars off. 500 laps on this tight, tough, demanding half-mile track. Trouble lurks around every corner, and the green flag is waving at the start-finish line.
Earnhardt Jr. didn't get a very good start, but that was a good... I thought Rusty would have tucked down. Yeah, there he goes.
Car, Scott Riggs is caught on the outside and just cannot get to the bottom because every time he tries to get down there, there's a car in the way.
Clear. Finally. Trouble. Turn 2. Joe Nemechek. The accordion effect.
And Casey Kane got into the left rear of Gene Spencer.
Go. Clear.
No yellow?
No. Now the caution's out.
Okay, yeah, we got trouble on the back. That's car 50. Yes. He pulls it in the back now.
Todd Bodine with the flat tire and the jam up.
Yep.
Tough luck there for Todd as he goes behind the wall. I talked about the accordion effect. And, you know, if you've ever played an accordion, how it opens and closes. Well, when it squeezes closed in a line of race cars, here's what happens.
See, Nemechek looks like he just lost it off the corner, like the car spun around.
I think he got hit.
Do you think so?
Yeah. There's damage on the rear bumper right there, and I believe he got hit by Hermie Sadler there. Yeah, see the damage on the rear?
See the damage on the left rear. Just barely touched the water barrel.
It all starts about 4 cars ahead of him with Mark Martin, who had a little trouble getting off the corner. Actually, in front of Mark even.
Definitely got hit.
Yeah. Caution's out here at Martinsville. We'll be back. Pace cars off. Ryan Newman leads the field to the restart.
Now we've got 42 cars strung around this racetrack.
Yeah, Newman sees the rear of the field here in about a lap or 2. As he goes through 3 and 4, they're just going into 1 and 2 right now. The tail end of the field.
Todd Bodine, the only driver off. Look at this.
There you go.
At least 3/4 of the racetrack with race cars on it.
Tony Stewart, Jeremy Mayfield, that is 12th place. Tony just took it away from Jeremy. Now here comes Brendan Gaughan in the 77.
And a lot of the talk this morning was that it's real difficult to get into the corners. And if you get into the corner and you're a little bit loose and you slide up like 12 car of Newman did, then Rusty Wallace will drive underneath him and fill the hole.
And take the lead.
And Wally yesterday in practice, that 2 car was really, really fast. Marty, what have they said about the 12? Is he okay?
Yeah, he's fine, BP, and this is kind of what they expected. Matt Borland told me this morning the car was actually not that good in practice yesterday, and they knew their teammate Rusty Wallace was much better. They wanted to lead a lap, at least get the 5 bonus points, and they expected Rusty to go by them. Matt.
And when you hear Rusty Wallace say we're not going to make a lot of changes to the car, you know how strong that race car is. They made so few changes yesterday. They surprised everybody, pulling a number of crew chiefs in the garage. Like Marty said, they all pointed to the 2 car as the guy to beat. Same race car he won with here in April, and he's out front now.
Okay, here comes your first patience test of the day.
Well, finally Jimmy Spencer said that's too early in the race to be fooling with these guys. Just let them go. Is he going to go down to the inside? No, thank goodness. Jimmy got the damage on the left rear quarter panel or fender in the Nemechek crash on the back. The 9 car of Casey Kane ran in the left rear of Spencer.
Kevin LePage is just taking his car to the garage. How about Spencer, Dave?
Well, they wanted to come in earlier and get that cut off, but it took them 2 stops to do it. So that's why they were so late getting back to things, and that's why they spent so much time in the pits.
Yeah, the 3 laps down right now.
Second place, Ward Burton by Ryan Newman.
And I talked to Billy Engel, the crew chief, on this 0 car this morning, and he was just raving about how well his car was getting around the racetrack. He said this is the best car he's had at Martinsville since he was working for Ricky Rudd. And we'll remember what happened that day. Ricky Rudd won the race.
Here's Ricky driving for the Wood Brothers. He's in 8th place. That'd be somebody to keep an eye on.
Oh, absolutely.
A brand new race car, this 21 car. Trouble.
Got a couple of them stacked up. Brendan gone. Sterling Marlin. Caution flags out.
And Sterling's car is not starting. It's not starting.
Damage. I don't see much on the front.
He better hurry.
Okay, finally.
Well, Brendan's got some problems.
Yeah, primarily the left front tire is flat.
And these tire pressures are so low anyway on the left side. If you barely touch anything, they pop.
We can't see what caused the 77 to spin.
Actually, I think when he did that spin is what popped that tire.
Carl Edwards.
Oops.
Right there. Come on, baby.
Little accordion effect maybe causing that one. And the caution is out for the second time in Martinsville.
NBC's coverage of the Subway 500 is brought to you by Subway. It's what to eat when you want to eat fresh. Subway, eat fresh. By Craftsman, the official tools of NASCAR. Available at Sears. Craftsman makes anything possible. By Miller, there's good enough and there's better than it has to be. Miller, good call. And by Nextel Coast to Coast Walkie-Talkie. Nextel, done.
70,000 here at Martinsville Speedway today watching the pace car lead the field in the Subway 500. Little residual damage.
A little bit, but you're going to see a lot of that today. There you see him right behind the 19 of Jeremy Mayfield. And as these guys get stacked up, you'll see the 48 car turn right and just gets into the back of the 19. Does a little bit of crinkle damage there in the left front fender, but I don't think that's going to hurt him.
Now, I don't think Sterling ran on the side of the 77 car. I think he was able to stop and not have any damage to the 40 car.
All right, so Jimmie Johnson continues in 13th place. Our Craftsman Truck Series update yesterday here at Martinsville. Jamie McMurray with his first series win went to the front late after drivers racing for the lead in front of him crashed together. New championship leader Dennis Setzer over Bobby Hamilton. 3 races to go and a very tight point race for the Craftsman Truck Series. NASCAR Busch Series update. Martin Truex with his 6th win of the season, holding off Greg Biffle at Memphis yesterday in the final laps. Kyle Busch faded late on old tires. Truex gained 64 more points. 4 races to go. The Busch Series in Atlanta next Saturday. Bill.
Alan, this was just 15 laps into the race. Early frustration from Jeff Gordon in the 24 car.
We're going to have to do something with this thing on new tires. We can't be that far off. It goes in there and it turns, but I cannot pick up the throttle. If I pick up the throttle, this thing just goes straight.
Very similar to the problem they fought yesterday in happy hour. We'll see if they can fix it.
Right now, Jeff Gordon has lost 3 spots since the start of the race.
Well, where they were at last week, I'm not going to write them off.
No.
As bad as they were at the beginning of that race at Lowe Speedway.
So, do you think Ward Burton wants to lead this race just a little bit?
I don't know, you think?
I get that impression just watching that 0 car as he closes up right on the back of the 2 and...
Hey, we talked about Elliott Sadler and this being a home track for him. This is a home track for Ward Burton, South Boston, Virginia.
Actually, he's closer to Martinsville than Elliott Sadler. Matt, they got to be very happy down the 0 camp.
BP, they are very pleased. They were just waiting for the air pressures, like you talked about earlier, waiting for those pressures to come up. Ward says the car is tight just after the center when he really wants to make a cut with the wheel and a little bit loose off, but he is pleased.
Ward's got a birthday tomorrow, 43 years old. Like to celebrate it with a winner's trophy. Grandfather clock they give out for winning here at Martinsville.
Looks like if you're going to pass Rusty Wallace, you better do it in a hurry because...
Yeah, he's take about a lap or 2 to get going. Boy, he gets going, and that's it.
That's 10th place changing hands. Scott Riggs continuing to get shuffled to the outside of the 10 car.
Yeah, Scott's he's been struggling. He's not been able to stay on the bottom of the racetrack and opens up the door, and all these guys are going underneath him, Bill. Oh, sorry, Marty.
That's right. That's right, Wally. His car is too tight, and you know when your car is tight, especially at a place like Martinsville, where it's hard to turn down to the bottom anyway, Scott just can't keep it on the bottom. And when he does that, he gives up the bottom lane. And when you do that, this is what happens to you.
Yeah, you get past.
Kevin Harvick going by, Bobby Labonte going by.
The problem is with that is you're letting all these guys by, but you're also letting the leader catch you, and you're going to go a lap down real fast, too.
I mean, Jeff Gordon, as much as he's struggling, is trying to go by Riggs to take over the 17th position.
And all Scott Riggs wants to hear right now are two words.
Clear.
Clear low.
Clear low, yeah. Levy down to the bottom of the racetrack. Okay, finally I get down behind Greg Biffle in the 16 car.
So that's going to put him all the way back to 19th spot.
Can he stay there? Can he stay down on the bottom of the racetrack?
How about Travis Kvapil in the 06? This actually a fourth car from Penske Racing, and the championship leader Kurt Busch going to work him over there for 5th place.
Marty, I tell you what, this 06 car has been very impressive this weekend.
Absolutely, BP. They came here to test 2 weeks ago kind of to help out his teammate Ryan Newman, who was out of test and couldn't come here to Martinsville and test. And then on Monday they said, you know, that went so well, let's put him in the car for the race. They had no idea he would qualify 5th. Now he's running in 7th, getting ready to get passed by Ricky Rudd. They didn't have very great expectations for the day. They just want to finish all the laps. But Travis showing himself pretty well so far early in the race.
And I tell you what, the spotter just saved a crash there. He started down in 1 and started to go to the bottom of the racetrack, and the spotter said, car on the inside. So Kvapil went straight and avoided the crash.
And Ricky Rudd was very happy of that because he was the guy that was on the inside.
So that's 4 cars that got by Travis in that little slip up into the outside lane before he was able to get back to the bottom. Actually 5 now that Jeff Burton's gotten by. Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Kurt Busch, top 2 in the championship, now nose to tail on the racetrack. That is for 4th and 5th places. Earnhardt Jr., 5 straight Martinsville top 5 finishes. And Kurt Busch, former winner here, Matt.
Running solidly in the top 5, and this team, a lot of luck last week at Lowe's. The 29 of Harvick blew up right in front, coated the windshield. He missed 2 wrecks and then had a flat tire as a caution came out. They know Martinsville's tough. It's going to be a long day, 500 laps. They're hoping they have plenty of luck left, Marty. The car just a little tight on exit.
Man, this is one of those days for the 8 car. Strangely looks like the 3 car. Dale Earnhardt Jr. looking very good. His car a little bit tight coming to him. His dad was so successful at this racetrack, and Jr. has won 2 of the last 3 short track races. His car very good, maybe even as good as Rusty Wallace's.
Boy, Newman is struggling right now. He is getting tighter and tighter, and he's going to lose a lot more positions if that car keeps going the way it's going. And I'm noticing a lot of other rubber too, up off the groove, and he was up in that a couple times too, Marty.
Hey, Wally, there I am. He's a little actually loose off is what he is, Wally.
Really?
And what happens is he goes to hit the gas and it just spins the tire. So he's having to wait on the gas so long, it gives a perception like he's tied off because he's having to wait so long before he can hit the gas. And there goes Junior trying to get second.
And he's going to take that spot away because right now the only place that you can have any speed at all is on the very bottom of the racetrack. You get on the outside where the 0 car is and you are in trouble. Big, serious trouble.
Kind of see the field beginning to bottle up behind Ward a little bit. He's lost some of the speed that he had when he jumped up there to second in the opening laps, and now he's hung in that outside lane.
Bill, these guys are still struggling with their setups.
Benny, it's all guesswork, isn't it? Or a lot of it here today, don't you think?
I think so, yes.
The new track surface, heavy rain overnight, washed all the rubber off the track. No idea how long the tires are going to give you grip. It makes the driver confused. It can confuse the crew chief. The first round of pit stops here will be extremely critical to finishing well in this race because that's going to be your first shot to try and make your car better.
Got a spinner. Ricky Rudd got nipped in the back bumper and does a 360 in turn 2. Caution is out.
And I tell you what, it looks like we're going to see a lot of that today. The left rear quarter panel and left bumper being torn up on these cars. We saw it on the 01 car of Nemechek, and now Ricky Rudd, the 21, has the same problem.
And now he wants to go have a word with the man who did the nipping at his back bumper, I believe.
Yeah.
He's not quite there. He's got a couple more to get by before he gets up to it. Bottom of the screen, right side.
Okay, who's the next car behind him?
That would be Mr. Green.
Jeff Green in 43.
Doink.
And Jeff Green gets a bump from the back from Jeff Burton in the 30.
And Ricky has pulled up alongside Mr. Green, and now you see pulled in behind him.
Well, that's where these guys now are going to be diving to the pits and making those changes. Wow.
Man, a lot of damage to this 30 car. We know one car that's going to pit road, and that's the 30.
All right, 41 laps in. Do you come down pit road? Do you take tires?
I think they've got to.
Yeah, I do too. I think, and you're always, you got to change the car now. A lot of these guys are not happy with the chassis, so they're going to come in and they're going to make those adjustments like Bill was talking about, and hopefully get their cars better.
Pit road's open.
Any takers? Oh yeah, here they all come. McMurray, no! We started late, decided to come down pit road, so right now every car on the lead lap. Bill, everyone coming down pit road.
Yeah, this will be big, as we were talking about, Benny. For Jimmie Johnson in the 48 car, loose at the beginning of the run, then it starts to tighten up. They're going to make a slight chassis adjustment, and that's it for Johnson. Matt.
And Rusty Wallace makes his way to his pit stall. Look to see if the right rear changer pulls a spring rubber out. Rusty says the car was too free on entry. A four, it goes up over the top of the car. 4-tire change for Rusty. Marty.
Matt Dale Earnhardt Jr. with a pit stall. Number 2 on pit road, all the way at the head of pit road. Car pretty good, sliding the nose a little bit in the corner. Junior's the one who actually decided to pit. Tony Eury Jr. didn't want to pit. There they go, 4 tires, no changes for the 8 car. Dave?
The 20 car had a great pit stop. They raised the track bar. The car was a little bit tight from the first third of the center through the middle. Tony got that fixed. He hopes.
We'll check the restart order for you when we come back. You're watching NASCAR on NBC. One of NASCAR's original 6 tracks, the Martinsville Speedway in South Central Virginia, hosting the Subway 500 on an overcast and somewhat chilly late October day. Race is under caution for a 3rd time, and Jamie McMurray's got some problems.
Yeah, he chose to make his entrance on the pit road just a little bit too late. There is a commitment line. This line right there, that white line, you must at least touch that tire with the left side. And there's the 42 car. We can see how wide he is. He did not touch that the white line, so therefore, you got to go to the rear of the field.
So you have to at least touch it with your left side tires, and he went around it, actually.
Right. So that's going to take him from 7th to 38th.
Watch right here. Watch the Texaco car. Doesn't even come close to hitting that line.
Exactly.
Then decides to come in too late.
Good shot there. Shows exactly what we're talking about.
And the pace car's off. Now, the first 5 cars online did not pit under this yellow. Terry Labonte, Casey Kane, Sterling Marlin, Brian Vickers, Herbie Sadler, they stopped back at lap 17, where none of the other guys did.
Right.
Ward Burton was the first car off pit road in that 0. Ward gets on the inside of Hermie, the 0-2 car.
Now we're going to see how important tires are here.
Yep.
Moderated by this. These guys all stopped because they were in the back of the pack.
But I still think what we were saying, 17 laps?
Yeah,
17, 18 laps on tires, I think it's going to mean a lot.
The 9 car has stopped. When did he stop last, Matt?
BP, the second caution, he came back in lap 17, changed all 4 tires. Earlier, they were working on that right front fender, the damage with the 4 car. Jimmy Spencer pulled it back out. It's good. Their big concern, though, track position. And you can see right now he's running in second. A little bit older tires, but they're hoping what they saw in the Truck Series race, the track position is more important than tires, will hold true today.
Well, we'll see.
That's for the lead. Casey Kane by Terry Labonte to take over the top spot.
97's looking.
And Junior, as well as that 8 car, was running just before the caution flag. Looks like he's struggling to stay in front of Kurt Busch in the 97.
And Junior knows he can't leave that lane open. The 97 car of Kurt Busch will fill it.
You have to be kind of opportunistic to race here, don't you?
Oh,
you know,
man.
you have to be ready to pounce.
And patient. You got to stay right there, right on that back bumper, and just hope that the 8 car, the car in front of you, whoever that is, makes a mistake and drifts up the racetrack, and you can stick that nose in there. If you get back too far and he makes a mistake, you can't capitalize.
And what you're trying to do, you're trying to fill that mirror and make him nervous. You're trying to just be there all the time so that guy keeps looking up in the mirror, and like you said, BP, hopefully he'll make a mistake.
That's for 6th and 7th place between Junior and Kurt Busch.
Problem is, a lot of these guys don't make a lot of mistakes.
No.
So that's the hard part about it.
That's why they drive Nextel Cup cars, because they're really good at it.
And these guys right now kind of bottled up a little bit behind Ward Burton, who's just in front of Junior. And it looks like Junior's a little bit faster right now.
Now, Junior will use the bumper. If he feels like he's getting held up by Ward Burton after 2 or 3 laps, I believe he'll go ahead and give Ward Burton a little love tap.
I wonder where he learned that from.
If he's ever watched any film of his father racing, imagine that's where he learned it.
And if you're Ward, you're probably just sitting there waiting for it.
See Junior slip off turn 2, gave Kurt just a little bit of an opening. He dives in there. Oh, can he make it?
Yep.
Looks like he can.
Going to be enough. And then Tony Stewart, can he get up there before he gets to turn 1? Yep, gave him enough. So Junior may lose 2 or 3 spots here before he gets back down on the bottom.
And Wally, that slip that Junior made off turn 2 was just so small, but Kurt Busch was there to capitalize.
That's why you got to keep the cars close. You got to stay on that guy's bumper and hoping for that little bit of an opportunity.
Now, Alan, what's those words he's wanting to hear?
Clear low.
Up.
Not this time. Yep.
No, he's hearing right now there's 3 more on the bottom, nose to tail. Clear after the 2 car.
Steve Meal has said trying his best, find some way, the spotter for the 8 car. Somehow, some way, get him to the bottom.
Oh, man, why'd you do that? Stuck his hand out the window.
Now, I think he's finally going to get back to the bottom of the racetrack.
Junior falls in behind Rusty Wallace. That'll put him back in 11th place, while Ward Burton has now been shuffled to the outside lane of the 0.
Man, passing is so difficult here today.
Kurt Busch is by, Tony Stewart's by, here comes Jeff Burton by his older brother.
And when you're up on that outside groove like Ward Burton is, it's hard. You're driving your guts out and you've got no traction and you're just trying to stay up there and try to find a spot. It's difficult.
Marty, got something on Dale Jr. for us?
Well, Alan, I'm sure Wally and Benny know that it's kind of busy in the car when all those cars are going around you. When Junior finally got to the inside, he said, I told you guys it was too tight in the middle. They decided not to make an adjustment on the last stop. They're now paying for it. Junior said the car just will not turn in the middle of the corners.
That's tough here at Martinsville. Got to have the car roll through the center. We talked about that a lot of places, a lot of times, but this place is real important for the car to roll through the center. Cut in the center so you can jump on that throttle.
Now, here come the guys with fresher tires up through some of the guys who didn't pit on this last caution.
I'll tell you what, I've been impressed with a couple of cars this early. The 2-car of Rusty Wallace and 20 Tony Stewart. That Home Depot car looks very good this afternoon.
So Kurt Busch up to 4th place, trying to chase down the leader, Casey Kane. Matty?
When I talked to Ray Evernham this morning, he said, you know, our qualifying performance is not a good indicator of just how good of a car that we have and how much Casey has learned since he finished 21st here in the spring. We've got to spin.
Turn 4.
Ricky Rudd again.
And
no yellow yet.
Caution.
Oh, my goodness, no caution flag.
So a promising day is quickly turning kind of ugly for Ricky Rudd. Check out where that drops him back to here in a minute when he comes back around.
Yep. Now Robbie goes around. That will bring out the yellow.
You're clear. Come on. Come on.
Yep.
So the bumpers are getting a workout, it looks like, today.
Front bumpers on the back bumpers. See some sheet metal rubbing that left rear tire.
All right, a couple of spins in turn 4 on successive laps. One brought out a yellow, one didn't. Here's the backside of the Ricky Rudd spin, way top of the screen.
Yeah. Don't know if there was contact between Scott Wimmer, the 22, or not.
Probably.
And now Robbie Gordon.
Next lap. Yep. A little contact from Kyle Petty in 45, and
oh, this will be fun. Yeah, on board, Robbie Gordon.
Yeah, let's. Here we go.
Still there.
Still there.
Clear.
Wow.
Come on.
Kept it off the wall.
I tell you what, that was a great job by Robbie Gordon to make that 360 and keep that car going.
So Ricky Rudd falls back to 27th place. Robbie Gordon back to 31st after their turn 4 spins. And now let's see if anybody comes to pit road here.
I think the top 4 will. Well, I shouldn't say top 4. Somebody in the top 4 will.
The guys that did not pit the last time, they might.
Let's see.
There comes the 9, the 40.
2 of those 3, and 3 of the 4 from before. Brian Vicker's going to come in as well. Under caution in the Subway 500 at Martinsville. You're watching NASCAR on NBC. Elliott Sadler's team won the McDonald's Drive-Thru Pit Crew Championship fueled by Powerade last weekend in Charlotte. They won it for a 7th time this season, donated the check to 2 charities. Very nice on their part. And they have a slim lead over Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s team for the season-long $200,000 prize among participating teams. Spending least amount of time on pit road during a race is how you win that particular money.
Well, I am impressed that those guys, especially Phil Horton, the pit crew.
Didn't think he'd part with that cash?
No, I didn't think he'd part with the money. Attaboy, Phil.
Pace car's off. Terry Labonte did not pit under this yellow. Didn't pit under the previous one either. He's the leader.
Green flag. Everybody's rolling you.
A little slip by the 97 car, and that was all it took for Tony Stewart to fill the gap.
I mean, Kurt Busch tried to go by the 4 car on the outside, and there was just no traction there.
But Stewart didn't pull it off.
Jimmy Spencer is 2 laps down in 40th place after the earlier problems he had, the time on pit road to repair the damage.
And he got one of his laps back under the Lucky Dog rule, the NASCAR rule that allows the first car not on the lead lap to get his lap back on a caution flag. He received one of those, but he's still a couple down.
He's trying to earn this one back.
Just a quick mention that there were a few guys that did pit under this particular yellow. They're all way at the back of the field. Casey Kane stopped, Matt Kenseth, Robbie Gordon, Jamie McMurray, Bobby Hamilton Jr., a couple other guys. Mario Gosselin getting the black flag in the aiding car. He's got something dragging under the car. He's kind of sending a shower of sparks up behind it. Let's hear about Tony Stewart, Dave.
He's having a very good run, Alan. BPU alluded to it. The car is very good for Tony. The grip has been very good. Through the middle of the corner, though, the constant effort has been to loosen it up.
Uh-oh. Come on around. Get it. Come on. Get it going.
No caution yet?
Coming into 3.
Oh.
Oh, look out.
Oh, there'll be one now.
Man.
Hang on.
He did not want to. There's a curb there that's about 3 or 4 inches high. Now, the curb is not as bad as it used to be.
So long, you know what I'm saying?
But he did not want to run into that with the front of the car.
No, Jimmy Spencer didn't want to either, but he had to.
So a yellow flag is out, and this is already going to be the 5th one of this race. There will be no lucky dog in this one because Robbie Gordon...
He's a lap down, and he caused the caution. So you cannot cause a caution and receive the lucky dog. That's just going to be contact right here. Oh. Man, oh man. Ooh, right by us.
They were trying to get down to the same piece of real estate.
And we'll probably see that all day because you can see, folks, just how treacherous that outside groove is.
Yikes, look at Spencer.
Spencer going through the mud.
He had nowhere to go.
So a tough start to the day at Martinsville for Robbie Gordon.
Inside on your corner.
Turned around a couple of times, including this one after contact with Ricky Rudd. Yellow flags out. You're watching NASCAR on NBC. September 25th, 1949, they held the first what has now become NASCAR Nextel Cup Series race here in Martinsville Speedway in Virginia. Red Byron won it. Today, the 111th series race at this historic half-mile oval. It's under caution with Terry Labonte, the leader. Let's check down on pit road. Marty?
And Alan, one of the best comebacks in Cup history happened right here, and that is the subject of today's Built for Tough moment. In this race 2 years ago, not only did Kurt Busch start 36, but he overcame a spin that you see right here on lap 180 and held off a hard-fighting Johnny Benson to score his only win here at Martinsville. 36 is the furthest back any winner has ever started here at this historic racetrack. And I'm sure Kurt would love to take home another grandfather clock today.
Yes, he would. It would go a long way toward boosting his bid for the championship, and Kurt Busch is in second place right now as we get set to go back racing in one more lap. Tuesday, NBC, the next big thing in reality television when the biggest winner is the biggest loser. All for $250,000. It's the biggest loser Tuesday at 8, 7 Central on NBC.
I'm not sure I would do that even for $250,000.
You don't think so?
I'm not sure I'd do that.
All right. Terry Labonte, the race leader. Kurt Busch second. Tony Stewart third. Ryan Newman fourth. Rusty Wallace fifth. On the lead lap, 36 of the 43 starters. And let's see if we can get some green flag racing in here between yellows.
Oh!
Yeah, better be careful there.
Boys, be careful because you cannot pass under NASCAR rules.
Second place.
Tony Stewart just dives to the inside of Kurt Busch. Uh-oh, Kurt, you could be in trouble.
Yep. Hung pretty tough. Come off the corner anyway.
Man, does he get off the corner.
Right in the middle, it looks like he has a little bit of trouble. Right there. Then he gets off the corner pretty decent. So dead even going into 3. He'll lose a little right here, and that was just enough for Tony to clear him.
New second place driver as Kurt tries to hammer his way back to that inside lane.
Oh, he went right across the 12. Marty, what are they saying about 12 car?
Man, that's kind of how you got to do it today. You got to wedge yourself into a hole, don't you, Wally?
Yeah.
You see the damage right there on the 12? You see that? A little bit of hood damage on Ryan Newman's car, but it does not damage the grill. They're a little concerned with the water temp as he tries to continue to get under Kurt Busch, but Matt Borland said let's not worry about it now. When they do stop, though, they're going to take some time, put some tape on the hood, and take some tape off the bottom grill. Bill?
Marty, a lot of talk up and down pit road about potential overheating problems, and one of the reasons for that could be all these little marbles of rubber coming off the tires. Benny, sometimes they go to the upper groove, but a lot of times, where do they go?
Into the grill.
Exactly right. The air can't get through, the water temperature spikes, and then you got a big headache.
See, the 12 car, where that thing is bent, I'm sure that's hurting the air going through the grill. Going through the grill and cooling the radiator. The marbles that Bill talked about, that's rubber that comes off the tires, that the racetrack grinds off the tires. It goes up, there they are. This is marbles, all this in here, and those are okay. They come off, they're up on the racetrack, but sometimes they fly up in the air and stick against the grill on the oncoming car.
But sometimes if you get forced up into the outside groove, you're running all through those marbles, and they kick up, and they do get stuck on the front of your car, and they will overheat very quick, yeah.
For the lead, Tony Stewart dives to the inside of Terry Labonte and takes the lead.
Former Martinsville winner this race 2000, Tony Stewart out in front. Dave?
So far, Alan, this team very quiet and confident on the radio, but talking like they can play their pit strategy any way they want to, asking Tony if he wanted to pit the last time, if the leaders did. Well, I can, or I could stay out here. The car is that good. Is that good?
It's nice to have. Options, always good to have. How about it, Matt?
Terry Labonte hung on the outside, losing the lead, dropping back. The car was tight. They feel like they are one more track bar adjustment away of having that 5 car where he wants it. Tight, but still pretty decent.
Pretty impressive because he's got, what, 10 or 15 laps more on his tires than Rusty Wallace does with the 2 car.
Yeah, he's running pretty good, and he's got the track position now, so if they can keep pretty good pit stops on that car and make the right adjustments, Terry Bonnet, he always runs good here.
Terry Labonte started in 27th, did not pit at lap 42, and most of the other leaders did, and that's how he got his track position and get toward the front of the pack in this race. Got more on Terry for us, Matt?
Well, recently he announced the fact that he's having his shifting gears Lone Star style, kind of a retirement tour where he will run 10 races next year and then 10 the following year and then hang up the helmet. Now, he was asked, will Martinsville be one of those 20 races that he will run? He said, well, let me see how I do this year at Martinsville, and that'll be the big indicator of whether I come back. This could very well be Terry's last run at Martinsville if he doesn't have a great day. Right now, it's looking like he may come back.
Here's Jamie McMurray trying to make up some of that lost track position from the penalty earlier when he missed the commitment line coming to pit road.
He just passed the 17 car.
28th spot there.
Yep. That's a lot of track position to make up.
Man, is it ever.
He was 7th when he got the penalty, and it dropped him to 38th at the time.
Jeremy Mayfield, 19 car, going by 38 of Elliott Sadler, and Elliott's on the outside, and Marty, he's in trouble out there.
He's in a little bit of trouble, BP. They've had a loose race car on the last stop. They took a pound down the right rear tire and went down on the track bar. Bigger problem, though, he has a bad vibration in the brakes that he did not have when they tested here and hasn't had this entire weekend. That can't be a good feeling, BP, when you're going in the corner. You hit the brakes so hard here, and when it's vibrating, that's not a secure feeling, at least.
No. And that's probably it could be like a warped rotor. That's what happens a lot of times when you warp a rotor. And it is when you turn the steering wheel going into the corner and you get that vibration, and you may not even be on the brakes very hard, but that steering wheel just vibrates really, really hard in your hand, and it really affects the car.
And Elliott Sadler getting shuffled pretty deep back into the pack. Tony Stewart out in front, 5th different driver to lead the Subway 500 through the field when we come back to Martinsville, Virginia.
NBC's coverage of the Subway 500 is brought to you by Budweiser. It's time for a fresh one. Grab a Budweiser. The race is on. By Discover Card, it pays to discover. By Chevy, the winningest name in racing, an American revolution. And by new M3 Power from Gillette, the new power behind the Gillette Young Guns.
6th caution flag is out on the race. Multi-car accident. Dale Jarrett among those involved.
Pretty extensive damage to that car. Let's see if we can see what happened. It looks like the 17 car of Kenseth is on the inside of DJ going in the corner to make contact, and
yeah, he was way on the inside too. He was there.
And the 32 car runs in the side of him, and the 4 car runs in the rear, and like Casey Mears in 41 might have missed him altogether.
Unfortunately, Casey Mears. There you see it again. Watch Casey Mears coming. He gets into the 32 car, Bobby Hamilton. So he's got right front damage.
From Joe Nemechek's view.
Everybody wants to put them left sides right on the curb.
And everybody wants to get some fresh tires on the race car now on pit road, Bill.
Kevin Harvick will be one of the first cars to hit down at the turn 4 end of pit road. His car's been sliding the rear tires through the turns. It's 4 tires, a chassis adjustment, and an air pressure adjustment. Has finished worse than 30th in the last 2 races, Dave.
Tony Stewart's car is just a little bit tight. He's going to get just a little bit of a wedge adjustment. 4 tires and fuel for Stewart. Matt?
Kurt Busch first in points, second on the running order. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment in the right front. The car was loose in, tied off. Marty?
Matt, Ryan Newman in pit stall number 1. They're going to fix a little bit of the damage. They're going to pull some tape from the right front of the grill. You see Ray Ocean doing it right there. 4 tires, but no chassis changes. Ryan says he loves the balance of the race car. Trying to beat the 97 off. He won't do it. He'll lose a lot of spots on pit road.
Boy, Rusty really had a couple close calls there leaving his pit.
I was just thinking, you and I were watching the same thing. I was just thinking, what a mess.
Man.
Kurt Busch out ahead of Tony Stewart on this set of pit stops. Caution flag is out. Matt Kenseth and Dale Jarrett tangle in turn 3, and Bobby Hamilton Jr. and Casey Mears join in the fun. Subway 500 in Martinsville, Virginia, coming to the green flag after wrapping up the 6th caution of this race already. Our Singular Wireless Race Talk poll: which 2004 short track race was your favorite on the occasion of the final short track race of the season? Kurt Busch winning his 3rd straight Bristol March race. Rusty getting his big win, ending the long dry streak here in Martinsville. Junior's victory under the lights in Bristol, or Jeremy Mayfield clinching his place in the chase with his Richmond win. Give us a vote.
Well, I got a vote, but I don't think I'm going to win. All right, here we go. First 3 cars chose not to pit, not to change tires. And that's going to cost Brian Vickers 3rd spot, because Kurt Busch in 97 has those fresh tires, and by he goes into 3rd.
And that's the other big thing for the pit stops, is Kurt Busch got out ahead of Tony Stewart. So all that work Tony did to pass him on the racetrack, Kurt's crew got back for him on pit road. Dave, got something for us?
Yeah, Alan, in the garage right now, Dale Jarrett's crew going to work on his car. The rear end, just really got bent in. In fact, the track bar is bent into the fuel cell area, so that's what they're mainly working on. I just chatted with DJ for a second, and he said, I'd rather not talk on camera right now. Pretty upset.
Also behind the wall after this crash are Jimmy Spencer and Bobby Hamilton Jr. getting their cars fixed up.
There you see Vickers up in the 25 car up high, getting slid up and passed by the cars that have fresh tires.
And that preferred bottom. Oh, see, there was just no grip at all for Vickers on the outside. He got on the outside bill and slid right up. I thought he was going up in the wall.
It can be an adventure out there. That 25 car of Brian Vickers, they're really trying to use pit strategy to get up front. They're pitting when the leaders aren't, then they're trying to stay out. Obviously, it's not working well this time. He is going the wrong way, BP.
I think pit strategy here is putting 4 tires on every time you can, because obviously the cars that have 4 tires down on the bottom, and he's going to the back in a hurry right now.
He's got 42 lap older tires than these cars that are passing him. He last stopped at lap 66. Same thing for Sterling Marlin and Jamie McMurray, the top 2 right now in the race.
And right now, McMurray in 42 car is all over the back of the 40, trying to get the lead, but Sterling does not want to give it away, Marty.
Of course he doesn't want to give it away, VP, and that's the plan today, is to do everything the opposite of what the leaders do. Exactly what you guys were talking about. When they come down, they're going to stay out. When they stay out, they're going to come down pit road, and that's giving them track position twice. Tony Glover is committed to it until the end of the race when they think they can run with the leaders.
That might be a good plan. If it works out, the way the cautions come out, it may play right into your hands.
I thought you just said it wasn't a good plan.
No, it's always a good plan to come in and put tires on. But like I said, if they're going to do it on the opposite.
All right, what we've seen here at Martinsville in the past several races before the resurfacing was guys taking 2 tires to try and get that track position from the back of the pack.
Right.
This is a different twist on a pit strategy to try and get some track position where you're still getting 4 tires, but now you've got that older set of tires, and you try to just hold on to as much of that track position as you can.
As long as they don't run out of tires before the caution comes back out. If they have to pit under the green, they're going to lose 2 or 3 laps, and that could cost them.
Oh! 42 car slipped off the corner, almost got in the outside retaining wall, but Kurt Busch not able to look it. He got on the curb and threw the car sideways. Talking about the 97 of Kurt Busch.
It's another one of the unique things about this racetrack, that yellow curving down the inside of the speedway that's not as tall as it used to be. They kind of lowered that down a little bit when they renovated the corners, but still it's there, and you bounce off it and it sends you for a ride.
Yeah, and you have to have your left side tires right along that curb if you can.
Yeah, the closer you can be to the curb and not hit it, the better off you are. All right, Kurt Busch gets a great run off the corner, but still not enough to get on the inside of Jamie McMurray. Jamie knows if he moves up and gives Kurt Busch the inside, he's going to lose not 1 spot, but 2, 3.
3.
Okay, there goes 1.
Here comes 2, and then Rusty's got to hurry up and get on the back bumper of the 20 car to pull it off, but nope, he wasn't close enough to do it, so lost 2 spots.
Jeff Gordon just kind of got knocked out of the way up in turn 4 last lap by. Ken Schrader moved him aside to pick up a spot, and Greg Biffle followed him through. How about Jeff Gordon's car, Bill?
Well, the way they ran last week at Charlotte, he could probably be in Richmond right now and still win this race, but that car is not handling very well, and he's talking to crew chief Robbie Loomis about it.
I'm just trying to figure out how we can pass and get to the front, because right now all I'm doing is playing defense, trying to keep them guys behind me.
Loomis told Jeff on the radio, please be patient. We will make that car better. We will be there at the end. I believe him.
So do I. I watched that race last week at Lowe's. It was unbelievable. Kurt, the 24 car of Jeff Gordon couldn't outrun anybody practically, and he finished second before it was all over.
Here's the bump a couple laps ago.
Another bump. Another bump.
Pardon me, I'm coming through. So Schrader's up to 18th, Biffle 19th. And now Jeff Gordon trying to hang on to 20th spot with Elliott Sadler working him over. Playing defense. How about the championship standings as they run on the racetrack right now?
Kurt Busch now almost 50 points in front of Dale Earnhardt Jr. because Kurt Busch is having a fantastic run. Junior's not that bad, but he's in 6th position, and Kurt Busch in 2nd, about to take the lead or trying to take the lead. As I said, trying to take the lead.
Working on Sterling Marlin.
Boy, you just tell when you get in the outside in the center of the corner, you lose a car length if you're on the high groove.
So Kurt Busch back out in front. He had already led earlier in the race and collected those 5 championship bonus points. Tony Stewart through, Rusty Wallace through, and the older tires starting to show on that 40 car for Sterling Marlin.
But he's still not too bad. He's just in 4th position, and if he can ride on to the next caution flag, and let's face it, there's going to be another caution flag in 30, 40 laps.
Past the 1/4 point of today's Subway 500 in Martinsville, Virginia. 5 races to go in the chase for the Nextel Cup. The championship leader, Kurt Busch, is out in front of this race. Through the field is next.
141 laps of 500 on the board at the half-mile speedway in Martinsville, Virginia. Sold-out house. Tough to get a ticket to this short track event. Big day for Kurt Busch. He leads the field. Let's take you through the field and start with Matt.
Kurt Busch, one of 2 drivers to lead at least 1 lap in all 6 chase races this year. Currently about a 10 to 2/10 of a second faster than Rusty Wallace, who's now moved into 2nd. Air pressure change has helped the 97. Meanwhile, the 2, they made a lot of adjustments. Wedge, track bar, and air pressure. The spring rubber, Dave, they pulled out on the first stop, made the car go really tight. Now they're trying to free it up.
Matt, Tony Stewart had that 2nd position. He'd moved up a couple since the restart on lap 114, but the car is still a little bit tight in the center. They've adjusted the track bar, they've adjusted the wedge, and it still hasn't gone away. Marty?
Dave, now 76 laps on Sterling Marlin's tires compared to everybody else who have only about 20 laps on their tires. Sterling says the car's tight, but it's not too bad. Hanging in there on those old tires in 4th. Matty?
About 10 car lengths back is his teammate, the 42, Jamie McMurray. Yesterday became the 8th different driver to win a truck, bush, and cup race in their career. Trying to win a short track race here at Martinsville. Says the car is just a little bit on the tight side, Marty.
On the last run, Matt Dale Earnhardt Jr. said his car was tight, so they made several changes to it. Remember, they didn't make any on the first stop. He got mad at the crew for that. Air pressure, wedge, and track bar. Car a lot better now. Matty?
Terry Labonte running solidly in the top 10. Wasn't
At Kansas and 36th last week at Charlotte. Car's been good. Minor chassis adjustment and air pressure on the last stop, Marty.
2:35 235 to 240, that's not too bad. Car starts out a little bit tight, actually gets looser the longer he runs. Weber?
Well, I wanted to get Jimmie Johnson in there as he was making the pass. Has not said much on the radio. Chad Knaus's crew chief just told him, you're fast, you're as fast as the guys at the front. We just have to figure out a way to get you there. Matt, how about the famous 43?
The famous 43 running 12th, started top 10, knocking on the door to get back in. The car loose. He said earlier he also feels like, Bill, they made the wrong decision in gear. Needs a little more gear. Tight from the middle, loose off.
Jeremy Mayfield in that 19 car driving for Ray Evernham, involved in early trouble, but they worked on the car, made it a little bit better, has pitted out of sequence with a few guys, but is holding his own right now. How about his teammate, man?
Well, they're working on that 9 car, Bill. Earlier he said the car was just way too loose. He was really working on that right rear, hanging it out. They've made an air pressure adjustment and track bar. He still says, though, it is sliding a little bit. Meanwhile, Bobby Labonte in the 18, running 15th, around the same area he started the day. Hasn't made a lot of progress. The car still tight from the middle off today.
Matty, the 6 car of Mark Martin has been pretty good today. In fact, they made no changes on the first 2 stops, and it went from being a little bit tight to loosening up on its own. Not bad for Mark. The 49 car of Ken Schrader having a pretty good run today. In fact, Ken usually runs well here and usually finishes. It had been 21 races since he had failed to finish until this spring when an accident put him out. Trying to keep his good record up today. The 16 car of Greg Biffle on the last run, it was just a little bit tight in the middle of the corner. They made a track bar and an air pressure adjustment to take care of that for Biffle. Martin?
Dave, Virginia boy Elliott Sadler only has 1 top 10 in his 11th Martinsville. Starts 19th right now. Needed forward bite, more grip off the corners on the last stop. Pound out of both rear tires. Now he says he has good forward bite off the corners. David?
For Scott Wimmer, Marty, they made an air pressure adjustment after the first run, which really improved the car. But on the last pit stop, they needed to lower the track bar because he was losing forward bite off of the corner. 55 car of Kyle Petty. On the last stop, they made a 4-tire change. No changes to the chassis. He's been good, neutral on the chassis all day long. Marty?
Travis Quapple still hanging in there, Dave. 22nd right now on the racetrack. His car has been tight for most of the day. It's been a learning experience, but you hear him on the radio. He's very calm with a calm voice, even though this is his first ever Nextel Cup start. Weber?
Well, Marty, Jeff Gordon is a 5-time winner at this track, but he's really going to have to work hard if he wants to get number 6. He's only about 6 seconds in front of leader Kurt Busch, and on the radio, this is the worst the car has been all day, Dave.
Matt Kenseth started the chase for the Nextel Cup today in 7th position. He currently runs in 28th. The car has been very loose all day long and got looser during about the 3rd run. At the last stop, it was still loose, so they took a spring rubber out of the right rear. That generally corrects the problem.
And there you go, through the field, the top 23 plus championship contenders that are on the lead lap. And we've got 32 of the 43 starters on the lead lap at the moment. Kurt Busch pacing the field. Here's the guy that's really been tearing up through the pack the last few laps, BP.
That 48 car, Jimmie Johnson, he just passed the 12 car, got by him, got by the 30 car, and now just goes by the 5.
Man, so that's up to 8th place for Jimmie Johnson from back about 12th. Your votes in the Singular Wireless Race Talk poll, favorite short track race of 2004.
Oh, can you imagine Junior winning at Bristol?
That's what you thought would win?
That's what I thought would win.
And what did you want to win?
I chose Mayfield and Richmond. I thought that was spectacular.
Me too. We appreciate your participation. Speaking of Junior, loses a spot.
Kevin Harvick. See, that puts Harvick up in 6th, Junior back to 7th. My math is good, isn't it?
You're in. It is fantastic. It's Mark Martin working over Casey Kane. Mark's going to get the spot. And that is for 13th spot.
Trading a little paint there on the way through, maybe? Mark's car looks pretty good. Kurt Busch, championship leader, is out in front of the Subway 500. 161 of the 500 laps are complete from Martinsville, Virginia. You're watching NASCAR on NBC. Sellout crowd on hand at Martinsville Speedway in Virginia for the Subway 500. 5 races down, 5 races to go in the chase for the Nextel Cup, and the championship leader entering the day, Kurt Busch, is having a fine afternoon so far. He's out front. Our Wendy's race menu.
Next week, Atlanta. We will not be pushing and shoving and gouging. We'll be side by side all over the racetrack on a mile-and-a-half facility. That's a great race. And then to the 1 mile racetrack in Phoenix. You get to race out there, don't you?
Yeah, get to race the Busch car out there, and that's one of my favorites.
And we wrap up the chase for the Nextel Cup in Darlington, South Carolina, and Homestead Miami Speedway in Florida. All great races coming up. A lot of pressure by the leader, Kurt Busch, to put Joe Nemechek a lap down. Joe wasn't quite this close to the leader a couple laps ago, but he and somebody else kind of got into it a little bit.
And that someone would be 31 car.
RG. Slides up. Boom!
Little contact, that's once, but there's going to be
probably some more.
You see the rotor on that 31 car, just cherry red.
Yeah, your car doesn't. Normally here at Martinsville, it's a physical racetrack to drive. You are very busy inside the race car. You're standing on the gas, you're turning, you're saving the car, like Robbie just did.
Yeah.
Robbie's car is not working very well, and you really struggle around this place. And when your car's not working good, you use a lot of brakes, and you use a lot of brakes. Those rotors get red hot. You watch the left leg. Yeah. Stands on the brakes.
Stands hard on that brake.
Got a little tire rub there. You can see Robbie is just awful right now.
And the leader, Kurt Busch, is right behind him, and he looks in the mirror and sees him. So I got to try to stand for this 97 car in case there's a caution flag. I get to make up a lap.
And he's got that tire rub pretty hard right there, but yeah, he's trying to stay on the lead lap, but I don't think it's going to happen. When you're turning the wheel to the right as much to the left, you're probably going to get passed.
It's not a good sign?
No.
And then, is that a little nip there from Kurt?
Yeah, going to get a little bit impatient when you're and you see Robbie's pumping the brake.
That's right.
And there's the rotor, and that's ugly, BP.
Just cherry red. That's probably 1,400 degrees. Watch when he goes to the corner and really slams on the brakes, just how red the rotor turns.
That's a lot of heat coming off that rotor.
And you've got to be concerned about that tire because, the tire is right there next to all that heat, and sometimes we've seen situations where it melted the bead on the tire and go flat.
And a lot of these cars have hoses not only to the brakes, but they have a hose pointed to the inside of the tire to help keep that bead cooled down a little bit.
Let's go inside our Home Depot garage and show you how they try to cool these brakes. We have air ducts that go through the grill of the car, through the bumper, and run back to the calipers and rotors. Because as we said, when the driver applies the brakes and just heats that rotor up, sometimes 13, 14, or even 1,500 degrees, there we see the air coming through to cool them down because the fluid inside, the rotors can stand that kind of temperature, but the fluid inside can't stand it. It will start to boil, and when it does, you get air in the system, you lose your brakes.
Yeah, and that's why Robbie is pumping his brake. He's pumping the pedal to get the air out to make sure that pedal is firm, so when he gets to the corner and he applies the brakes, they're there. Because if you got to make that extra pump when you get into the corner, you're on the wall.
It's a safety shot.
Yeah.
Here's a race for position. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has fallen back some over these last 10-12 laps. BP to 10th spot. Now Mark Martin's working on him.
Yes, he's struggling. Oh, we see Junior come up, and here comes Mark.
Does he have enough? Yep.
Caution turn 2. Kyle Petty going into the spin cycle.
And the leader is right behind. It looks like that Kyle will get his car going before Kurt Busch, the 97 car, laps him.
Forward knocked 06 into you there.
So yellow flag number 7.
Get busy putting tires on now.
And let me tell you something. These cars, I think, needed this caution flag because it looked to me like a lot of these cars were really sliding around, that the tires were about worn out.
It's about 71 laps since they went back racing.
And some of these guys yesterday talking about only being able to run 75, 80 laps on the left side. Now, we expect the tire wear to get better, but we'll have to check with our guys in the pits and see.
Yeah, he got tagged. Kyle got tagged by Wobble.
I heard the spotter say that it looked like the 24 got in the back of the 6 and knocked him into the 45.
And here come the leaders to the pit road opening. And On they charge. Kurt Busch, Rusty Wallace, Tony Stewart, Sterling Marlin now going to come in with the leaders this time. Jimmie Johnson in too.
Not doing the opposite then, is he?
Bill?
And they coach Jimmie Johnson on how to get into your stall. He's got a very tricky pit stall here on the front stretch. Car is just a little bit tight. He's got great forward grip, a small chassis adjustment, 4 tires and fuel day.
Tony Stewart said, guys, let's get the car rolling through the center of the corner a little bit better. That'll mean an air pressure adjustment, 4 tires and fuel. Matt?
Left side tires going on. No changes for Kurt Busch, the leader. He says, I'm all set. Marty?
Matt, this is the break actually the 40 team was looking for. They were going to have to pit in about 30 laps under green flag conditions. Car is too tight for Sterling. Half pound to the right front, pound in the right rear. Bill?
24 of Jeff Gordon fell off the jack. They had to basically lift the car up, get the jack back underneath it, then do the left side tires. Extremely long pit stop.
Boy, it rains, it pours. I've heard that before.
That's going to put Jeff Gordon back almost to the end of the lead lap. Just about everybody's off pit road already.
Jeff, where are you? Jeff? Did he stop? There he is.
We had time to play the final Jeopardy music before he came around the corner. Troubles for Robbie Loomis and company at Martinsville.
Second up. Right there, come on, baby.
Little short track action on a Sunday afternoon for the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series. The caution flag out in Martinsville, and you can see some of the reasons why already today.
A brand new surface here and a very, very tight group. Junior's struggling right now, Marty.
Well, VP, it's been an interesting last 20 minutes for Dale Earnhardt Jr. The radio discussion continues, but for the last, I'd say probably 30 laps that run, he had no spotter. His spotter, Steve Meal, both radios went out. Most of these spotters have a primary and a backup radio, but when you keyed the mic, it sounded like there was heavy wind blowing into the microphone, and no one could hear what he's saying. So then they didn't know what to do, so they sent Jay Guarneri, one of the crew members, to the hauler. They got a radio and ran to turn 4, trying to spot for Junior as best he could, called him to pit road, and then now they're running up radios to Steve Meal. Now they can't find out what channel Junior's on, because he said, I can't stand channel 2, I'm switching to the primary channel, and they can't get him to answer on either one. So very confusing situation for the 8 team, but they're getting it worked out.
Yeah, well, he's talking to somebody, so they must have found a channel.
The shock's not a problem.
How'd he talk to himself?
I mean, it's a big deal.
He don't know it.
Well, if he's talking to himself, it's one thing. If he starts answering himself, then I'm going to be concerned.
There's Steve Meal, the spotter.
Running back and forth around the spotter stand, trying to get things worked out. Dale Earnhardt Jr. going to line up 10th for this restart. Marty, they get it squared away?
Yeah, they found him on the primary channel. He said, I was talking, no one was listening to me. He switched over, and I guess the crew didn't get the message until just now. Now they're communicating about what the car was doing on the last run.
Like I said, he's talking to himself.
I can't believe you let that go, Wally.
What's that?
Could have thrown that right back at Marty. I was talking and nobody was listening to me.
I wasn't listening to Marty.
Oh, okay. Under caution at Martinsville. Cleanup continues.
NBC's coverage of the Subway 500 is brought to you by Ford, the official truck of NASCAR. By the Principal Financial Group. We understand what you're working for. By UPS, the official express delivery company of NASCAR. UPS, we want to race the truck. People love the truck. And by the United States Army, an army of one.
Closing in on the 200-lap mark of the Subway 500 here in Martinsville, Virginia. They've taken some time and extended this caution to clean up some of the excess rubber and marbles from this racetrack. Jimmie Johnson moving very well in this midsection of the race, Bill.
Doing well under green, but not under caution. 255. You know what that is, Benny?
Water temperature.
Yeah, not very happy. Extremely warm right now. Crew Chief Chad Knaus has asked NASCAR to pick up the speed on the pace car to try and generate more air in there to cool off the water temperature. Marty.
And Tony Eury Jr. and Dale Earnhardt Jr. finally recommunicating here, and that was kind of a crazy 20 minutes, wasn't it?
Yeah, things are just not going the way we need it today. you know, we're kind of pushing real bad. We tightened the car up this morning. We kind of overdone it looks like. But, yeah, radio communications went out there for a minute, but now we got Steve a new radio up there, so hopefully things will turn around.
All right, we do want to confirm that Steve Milne now does have a radio and has just talked to Dale Jr. Everybody's happy now.
All right. And, you know, we talk about the 48 car. Bill mentioned overheating on the 48. A lot of these guys use mechanical fans, not the electric fans. 48 has an electric fan, so they have trouble pulling all that air through at these slow speeds.
NBC Monday, live from Las Vegas, the Radio Music Awards. All the biggest stars on a night where anything can happen. Monday at 9, 8 Central, the Radio Music Awards on NBC. Still cleaning up here at Martinsville. Let's take a break. We'll come back for the restart. Kurt Busch is the leader. You're watching NASCAR on NBC. Thus far in the Subway 500 at Martinsville. Little bumper tag to get things going early.
Joe Nemechek, 0-1 goes around. Brendan Gaughan, 77, goes around.
Jimmie Johnson picking up a little damage in that early incident, but he's continued on just fine.
And that's one of at least 2 spins by Ricky Rudd.
And Robbie Gordon's been around a few times today.
Typical Martinsville so far. So now we have one with Ricky Rudd and Robbie Gordon.
And Robbie almost saves it, but not quite. Around he goes.
Dale Jarrett.
Took out a couple of guys. Bobby Hamilton, big damage.
Yep.
Casey Mears, big damage.
Jeff Gordon has kind of struggled in this middle section of the race. He's back in 24th now.
And they're just kind of shoving him out of the way as they go by. Kyle Petty, 45, makes a spin cycle.
At this most recent caution, from which we are just finishing the cleanup. Kurt Busch, the race leader, bringing the field down for the restart. 27 drivers on the lead lap, including Joe Nemechek, the lucky dog at this last caution.
Oh yeah, that was good for Kurt Busch. He got clear of Robbie Gordon, and then Rusty Wallace kind of got hung up there on the outside of Robbie Gordon at 31 car, so Kurt's going to get a little bit of breathing room.
And Tony Stewart is trying to get back to the bottom of the racetrack. And Harvick, the 29, he definitely cut Tony Stewart a break there. Because Tony was coming on the bottom whether or not the 29 backed off or not.
That was for 3rd and 4th place. Sterling Marlin in the 40 is 5th, the silver car. And it's a lap car next in line before you get to 6th place, Jimmie Johnson in 48. Mentioned that Dale Jarrett has come back on track 94 laps down after repairs from the crash damage we showed you just a minute ago in our race recap. Also Hamilton Jr. and Spencer back on track 77 and 76 laps down after crash damage repair.
Rusty's going to run out of patience here, I think, probably pretty soon with Robbie. Because Mr. Busch is driving away right now.
He's outrunning Rusty right now, about 1/3 of a second per lap.
What are they?
Go ahead, Wally.
No, I was just going to say, what are they saying down there in the 2, Matt?
Well, Wally, a couple concerns. First, the weather. Roger Penske says the wind is picking up. Rusty says that means probably weather is coming our way, which differs from some other teams here on pit road. But he was also concerned about his brakes. Spotter Earl Barbin said, I don't see any color, meaning the rotors aren't glowing. So that means he's doing very well on saving his brakes.
And Matt, they tell me anymore, these guys tell me that the brakes are so good that you really can't tell that you've got a problem until it's too late, until boom, you don't have any brakes. You have them and you finally get them, overheat them to the point that they fail, but you're not aware that they're going down.
But the spotters can sit there and look at inside the wheels, and if they're not glowing, they're not really red, that's really a good thing because you're not abusing them. Unlike what we saw like Robbie on his rotors earlier, they were just looked like on the verge of melting.
Oh, almost had a crash on the front straight as we see the 2 car trying to once again get by Robbie Gordon.
Benny, did you ever have, you won a lot of races in your career at a lot of different places. Did you ever have a racetrack where when you walked in the gate you were just, this is my place, I'm on cloud 9, this is going to be a good weekend?
I felt like Atlanta Motor Speedway and I seemed to get along well.
Yeah. Nice little relationship. Well, Rusty Wallace is a 7-time winner here at Martinsville. He's led over 3,500 laps here, got a career average finish just about of 10th. And when he walks in the racetrack here at Martinsville, he knows it's going to be a good weekend for him.
When I walk in here, I get really excited because it's the track I've won a lot at. It was the site of my last victory, so I'm supposed to be excited. But no, I do feel good about my chances this week. We qualified second, and car's running great, so Martinsville's a fun place.
I talked with Rusty about the difference in this racetrack from April when he won here to this weekend. We were talking about the new track surface, and he said, I unloaded on Friday morning with the exact same setup that I had in April when I won. And I got 30 minutes into practice and said, this isn't going to work.
And they changed it dramatically. And then, yesterday, I think they went a lot back the same way they were here in April. But I'm impressed. Rusty's staying right behind the 31 car, and those brakes are not showing any red on the rotors.
And Robbie, like I said, Robbie's staying in front of the 2 car.
Of course, Rusty with his last call next year, his final season on the NASCAR Nextel Cup circuit. He told me it's not the racing that's wearing me down, it's the schedule that's wearing me down. I just need some time to do something else.
And there's a shot of Robbie Gordon's rotor right there, and this is just after a restart, so it's already glowing.
And the tires are pretty good. They're getting a pretty good grip. As this goes on, he'll have to use more brakes to keep the car slowed down, to keep the car on the bottom. And you see those air hoses we showed you on our Home Depot virtual garage, how it cools it down the straightaway, and the redness almost goes away. But as soon as he hits that brake pedal, man, does it turn cherry red.
Look at the sparks flying off there, little pieces of the metal.
I don't even know how they work.
Looking at that. Marty, what's up?
Well, and one of the advantages of having the #1 pit stall is it's in the middle of turns 1 and 2. So Matt Borland told Ryan Newman earlier in the race, your brakes are starting to glow. Take it easy on the brakes. You can see where Matt sees right down over his pit box into turns 1 and 2, right where the rotors would be glowing. They had problems with their brakes in the 12 car at Watkins Glen. The next week, they went to just do a brake test at Kershaw, South Carolina, a road course. It has drastically improved their brake program. Ryan now knows how to take it easy on the brakes early in the race. That's critical here at Martinsville. Weber?
Well, Marty, Jimmie Johnson moving his way up through the field, strong on the track, getting good help from his guys in the pits. Before the last caution, crew chief Chad Knaus calling out lap time, saying you're as fast as the leader, but please, easy on the brakes. So far, so good.
When you come to this racetrack, brakes are always one of the biggest concerns that you have. Also, turning the engine too many RPMs. We're only a little over 200 laps into this race, but we will probably see engine trouble with some of these cars before it's over, because to help the brakes too, when you back off the throttle to let the gear slow the car down as well as brakes, they turn it excessive RPMs, almost 10,000 RPMs.
And Fanny, this racing surface is really putting an extra emphasis on brakes too, don't you think? Because they have so much grip, they're so much faster down the straightaways.
Exactly right, Bill. Cars are much faster now than they were here before there is grip, but brakes are at a premium. They talked about it Friday and Saturday. Everyone concerned about the brakes lasting. Is Junior losing another spot?
Yeah, he's actually lost a couple. Jeff Green went by him. There's Casey Kane by him. Junior back to 11th, and Mark Martin trying to fill that inside lane. Clunk, clunk, clunk. You know Benny's favorite saying about Martinsville, right, Wally?
No.
It's 2 words. Mechanical exercise.
Yes, it is.
That's his favorite on a lot of racetracks.
Road courses in Martinsville, they are definitely mechanical exercises.
Junior still sliding back, Marty.
Yeah, and one of the disadvantages of not having radio communications, the team really didn't know what to do on the last stop. All they knew was the car was tight. But as soon as they got the radio communication back, they got an earful about how the car was handling for Junior.
I think the reason it's almost so bad is because it's so slow in the center of the corner. I mean, if that's the case, we need to be able to get lower RPMs like that in the center of the corner. I think you would be able to, but I got to stop it. You know, when I get into gas, it's like, you know, it's just like jugging. It's real bad tight in the middle of the corner, Junior. But I just don't roll in. I lose the rear brakes, and when I lose the rear brakes, it stops turning.
How about those sound effects? You make that BP in the middle of the corner. Wedge and air pressure adjustment for Junior car a little bit better, but he says still just too slow in the middle of the corners.
I mean, if it wasn't for your hands or sound effects, you could never explain to your crew chief what your car was doing.
And by the way, Junior wasn't talking to himself there when he said Junior. He was talking about Tony Uri Jr., his car chief.
Oh, that's good. Like I said, I didn't want to. I know talking to himself's one thing, but when you start answering yourself, that
yeah, the voices in your head.
That's bad.
What kind of sound effects do you make with your race cars?
I don't make too many sounds.
Screech, crash, crunch.
Yeah, some of those.
How are the Gillette Young Guns running today? Pretty well. First, third, fifth. First micro power shaving system from Gillette is new M3 power, the new power behind the Gillette Young Guns. So continuing to keep an eye on Dale Earnhardt Jr. as he struggles to keep pace with Kurt Busch, his rival for the Nextel Cup Championship.
There's Schrader running the 13th spot. Kenny's having a good run today. 49 car right there looking at taking the spot from Earnhardt.
This is a racetrack that you can get grip mechanically. You don't have to do it with all the aerodynamics and engineering stuff. And that's when the 49 car and cars like that have a chance. Dave?
Kenny Schrader making his 40th start here today, guys, and not big adjustments on the car either. Last time, just a slight air pressure adjustment for Schrader to make that car turn a little bit better in the corners.
A little bit of a tire rub there in the right front. Looks like well, that was probably when he was bouncing off of Jeff Gordon.
Yeah.
Earlier in the race, he did some damage to the right front. He's got a little bit of smoke when he gets hard on the brakes.
So that's Schrader racing Earnhardt Jr. for 12th position. The zero car of Ward Burton is a lap down in 32nd place.
Well, those guys have sure lost the handle on that car. Ward Burton.
And here's a race for second place is Kevin Harvick. Looks to go around Rusty Wallace.
Matt, what's up with the 2 car? You got a problem?
Well, BP, he finally was able to get the 31 of Robbie Gordon out of his way. Spotter Earl Barban did some work on that. He lost a lot of track position, slowly starting to close in back on the 97, but the 29 of Harvick had closed in on him, made the pass. Now Rusty sits in third. Hasn't said a lot on the radio. They only made one change in their last stop, a wedge adjustment.
A little different view, kind of looking up across the shifter at Rusty in the office.
And you can see how Rusty turns the wheel. He's not really moving it nearly as much as Robbie Gordon was, who was struggling with his race car.
And Rusty just going to the left with the steering wheel, not left, right, left when he gets in the corner. You can make some speed as if you just keep turning the steering wheel to the left. When you have to go through the corner, sawing it, you got a big problem.
Real smooth on the wheel. You hear him pick up the throttle smooth. Car's working very well.
Rusty's always had kind of an upright posture in his race car. You know, some guys have their seats kind of laid back a little bit. They're almost half reclined, and he's always sat very...
He almost sits forward.
Yeah, straight
in
up.
his seat, yeah.
Very tall.
So he's got a hose that's going in the top of his helmet, trying to see the hose back there, trying to get some cool air down inside that helmet.
Those actually work a lot better that way. Remember, they used to go into the side of the helmet on the cheek, and when they changed it and put the hoses to the top of the helmet, you get a lot more air to your head this way. So that was a great improvement.
He's just tugging at something there that last straightaway, trying to make a little more comfortable. Comfortable. Pretty good description for Kurt Busch so far.
Not too comfortable because right now the 29 car is closing in on the 97, Bill.
Just having a remarkable run, Benny, and just microscopic adjustments on that car. I just talked to Todd Ferrier, Harvick's crew chief, a little bit of air pressure, just a very small track bar adjustment. He finished 7th here a year ago, 19th at this track in the spring. 7th is his best finish at this place. Harvick needs a get-well run, and this could be it.
Kevin has the first back-to-back races failed to finish of his career the last 2 weeks. Having a good day here in Martinsville for Richard Childress Racing, trying to chase down Kurt Busch for the top spot as we close in on halfway in the Subway 500.
just 4 laps from halfway in the Subway 500 at the Martinsville Speedway. Live coverage on NBC. The 6th race in the chase for the championship. Kurt Busch is the championship leader. And guess what? He's also the race leader. Time to take you through the field. Let's start with Matt.
Bill, Kurt told me on Friday this race is a wild card just like Talladega. The best place to be to dodge any kind of bullets out front. Right now he's got a window. His rear window is full of that 29.
Looking right at him. That's the 29 of Kevin Harvick, looking for the race lead. Dismal couple of weeks, as Alan was talking about just a few laps ago. But from spotter Rick Corelli to driver Kevin Harvick, you're reeling them in. How about the 2, Matt?
Trying to get another grandfather clock for his trophy room, runs in 3rd. The car, though, Bill, has started to go back to the tight side. That's why he's slowly fading.
The 48 car of Jimmie Johnson starting to look a lot like last week at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. Johnson looking to the inside of Ward Burton. Car getting better as the race goes along. From his crew chief, be smooth, save your stuff. Up front, in traffic.
Harvick goes by Kurt Busch and takes the lead as they caught this big group of cars. Kurt was trying to get by them.
Kurt, where did he come from?
Kurt tried the outside line and didn't quite work. Gave the 29 just enough room to drive on the inside down the backstretch.
And they're going to be working traffic for a long time if it stays green right now.
How about this for a theory, Wally and Benny? Harvick can afford to be a little more aggressive in that traffic than the championship leader can.
That would be true.
That could be a theory.
So Kevin Harvick out in front, the 9th different driver to lead this race. And Kurt Busch back to 2nd, Matt.
And this is not what Kurt Busch wants to see, a bunch of cars in front. He picks up an aero-tight condition when he is in traffic behind guys.
Even at 110 miles per hour, still the aerodynamics means a great deal to these cars as far as handling is concerned.
Well, 110 miles an hour may be just child's play for you former champions, but for somebody like me, that's still going along at a pretty good clip.
Oh, it's pretty fast.
And you see Harvick is really struggling there on the outside of but finally,
wow, okay, here we go.
That's going to be tight.
That was interesting.
That's heads-up driving by Brendan Gaughan in that 77.
Really is. He saw those guys coming and gave him a lot of room.
Okay, so we were going through the field. I believe we left off with 5th place Tony Stewart, Dave.
And his car right now is a little bit loose, Alan. But you know what he said about new leader Kevin Harvick during the last caution? Go tell the 29. This is the day we've both been waiting for. You'll know what I mean. Maybe he meant fast Chevrolets, Matt.
And Jeff Burton having a great run in the 30 car. On the last stop, he said, put the car back to where it was in the previous run. It's just gotten way too tight. They made an air pressure adjustment. Marty?
Matt Sterling Marlin restarted 4th on this run. Now he's in the 7th position. His car is pretty tight. About 45 laps until these guys have to pit under green flag conditions. Sterling finished 9th here in April driving this car. Matt?
21st here in April. Casey Kane having an awesome day. This is almost like a win having a top 10 run. He says the car is tight now on entry. They're talking about what adjustments, possibly more track bar in the next stop, Dave.
Mark Martin has recovered to 9th position. He restarted 8th and then lost 4 positions when he tangled with Brian Vickers, a lap car in traffic, trying to work his way back up. Matt?
Rounding out the top 10 is Jamie McMurray in the 42 car. Won a truck race on Saturday, trying to win here at Cup. He said he needs to rotate a little better on the gas. Donnie Wingo formulating a game plan for the next stop. Meanwhile, the 43 car, Jeff Green, running just outside in the 11th position. He says his car has been good pretty much all day. The team made a small air pressure adjustment on the last stop. 4 tires, nothing else on the radio, Dave.
Ken Schrader started 20th today, all the way up to the 12th position. Had a loose race car at the beginning of the day, now just trying to lose the guys behind him. Matt, Marty?
Dave, chassis-wise, Ryan Newman's a little bit tight. He said there's just nowhere to go back here. I'm faster than the guys in front of me. I just can't get around them. They're back there because of a couple of rough pit stops, hoping for a better stop next time. Dave?
The chassis for Greg Biffle coming around on that car on the last set of pit stops. No changes for him, just 4 fresh Goodyears. Matt?
Last through the field, Bobby Labonte was running in the 15th position, and that's right where he runs on this through the field. The car, not any better. Just will not rotate through the corners, and just no grip, Marty.
Matt, the quote for the man second, the championship, pushy, pushy, pushy. And he's not talking about someone he doesn't like. He's talking about his race car being way too tight, needs major adjustments on the next stop. Bill?
Jeremy Mayfield won the race at Richmond to get into the chase, but since then it has been a real roller coaster ride. 35th at Loudon, 7th at Dover, 38th at Talladega, 5th at Kansas, then 30th last week at Charlotte. Running inside the top 20 now. Now the car is just a little bit tight. Matt?
Knocking on the back of the 19 is the 5 of Terry Labonte. Jim Long, as crew chief, told me the car just starts out way too tight. The first 10 to 15 laps is too tight, and then it starts to come in. But his biggest concern, they're worried about brakes. Marty?
Matt, he told the same story for the 38 car of Elliott Sadler. Way too tight in the initial part of the run. When he hits the gas, car just does not want to turn. He said, I saved the tires last time. The tires went away fast anyway. Dave?
Carl Edwards got a little help from his friends, not only with the track bar adjustment to free up the car in the middle of the corner, but his crew picked him up 4 spots on pit road. Marty?
Dave, the 2003 Craftsman Truck Series champion, doing a good job. Travis Quapple in his first Cup start. Roy McCauley, the crew chief, told me they're better, but the car is still too tight. Burns?
Michael Waltrip trying to work his way back up. He's really running where he pitted last time. Hasn't made any moves, but his car was a bit loose. They made a track bar adjustment for that. Now, Matt Kenseth has had quite a day. He stayed out during that caution to lead 1 lap and gain 5 extra bonus points on lap 184. Then he pitted, but since then, he's been chasing an alternator problem. It hasn't put him out yet, but they're worried about it.
Well, Jeff Gordon is having a very dismal day out on that racetrack. In fact, look right behind him. That is race leader Kevin Harvick threatening to put this 5-time Martinsville winner a lap down. The car is just too tight. He says other cars were holding him up, but that's only part of the problem. That car just too tight.
Hey, Bill.
Yes.
Usually the 24 car is the guy that uses the front bumper to get someone out of the way. Now Kevin Harvick, the 29 car, is using the front bumper to get Jeff Gordon out of the way.
Yeah, he's working on the back bumper of that 24 car. You do not see that happen very often, especially here.
Jeff last on the lead lap in 24th place as we check the championship standings as they run. Still plenty of time left in this race, but for now, it's a Kurt Busch looking day.
Man.
Junior sliding back, and
yeah, Junior's back in the 16th position, and we see Jeff Gordon in 24th. And meanwhile, Kurt Busch, the leaders, almost caught up with the 29 car of Kevin Harvick.
Yeah, that's the thing. You really can't get hung up on traffic right here. Harvick has already bumped him once out of the way, and it looks like he may get his opportunity to get by the 24 car. Nope.
And Jeff made a pretty aggressive move to block there.
Yeah, but in the meantime, you've got Busch right there closing in.
Harvick in 11th place in the championship standings, as you saw there a minute, or 13th coming in rather, to the day, and is fighting for that 11th spot with Jamie McMurray and Dale Jarrett. Jarrett already in a crash earlier today.
And there is Kurt Busch, pulled right up on the back of the 29, and that just gets 29's been hung up behind the 24 car.
All right, here we go. Jeff realizes there's not much he can do in that 24 car, but finally give way to the 29 and let him get by and put me a lap down.
Ooh, 29's going to drive up on him a little bit and just show him that he felt should have let him go a little bit earlier than that.
And probably a little sly smile on Kurt Busch's face too, as one of his title rivals. He puts 1 lap down. 271 in the books of 500 in the Subway 500 in Martinsville. We'll be back. The Subway 500 for the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series from Martinsville Speedway in Virginia. Race being led by Kevin Harvick as we come up on the 300 lap mark, the 3/5 point of the race. How about our Napa field summary? Facts and figures on the day. 9 different drivers have been out in front today. Man who's led the most, Kurt Busch, BP.
And caution laps, 55 so far.
Only 6 cars out, which is pretty normal here. There's a lot of cars to finish this race.
And right now we only have 22 cars in the lead lap. The 22nd car is Matt Kenseth in 17, Michael Waltrip in the 21st position, but there's a leader, Kevin Harvick, the 29, right behind them. So they are in jeopardy of being a lap down. And boy, it's hard to get those good finishing positions from a lap down.
And then you've got Rusty Wallace and Jimmie Johnson have moved in. In fact, Rusty Wallace taking a look underneath Kurt Busch there going into turn 1. So running behind this traffic is definitely closed up the top 4. And they're going to get closer.
Matt Kenseth, of course, got to do what he can to try and stay on the end of the lead lap if he can, stay in front of Kevin Harvick. Matt, 7th place in the championship. And, you know, he needs to try and find a way to fight back for a top 10 finish if he's going to keep his point total close to some of these guys up ahead of him, like Kurt Busch, for example. Matt back in 22nd place right now. Best finish here at Martinsville for Matt Kenseth, the 2nd place run in the April race of 2002. How about Kenseth, Dave?
You know, he really hasn't complained that much about the handling of his race car. The only thing he's told the crew in the last 15 laps or so was leader in the mirror.
And Rusty Wallace takes over 2nd spot.
It looks like maybe the 97 car is starting to struggle just a little bit, like maybe the tires are starting to go away. There's Jimmie Johnson right behind the 97. That would be for the 3rd position if he could get by.
I think we talked, wasn't it, Matt, and said 97 had a little bit of an arrow push in traffic, and he's certainly in the middle of it right now.
Jimmie Johnson going to try slide underneath Kurt Busch for 3rd place. Matt?
And he's going to drop back to 4th. Now, the debate for Kurt is whether or not he wants to make a wedge adjustment on their next stop, which is around 50 to 55 more laps. He doesn't want to hurt the exit. He feels like the exit is one of his strong suits right now. He's trying to work, though, on the entry. If they are going to hurt the exit, he wants to leave it the way it is. Meanwhile, Rusty Wallace's crew chief told him, cool your brakes. He did that, and he made the move on the 97.
And he's moved right into the back of Kevin Harvick's car right now. Rusty Wallace is right there in the mirror.
So there's your championship leader, Kurt Busch, running now in front of one of his title rivals, Jeff Gordon. Junior just tapped the wall.
Well, someone said. Oh, he just tapped the 19 car, I know that. Might hit him again.
Again? And getting a little admonishment from race control to calm down and settle himself down.
And Carl Edwards, the 99, goes by. Let's see what happened here.
Bounced off each other there. Caution flags out. Carl Edwards has just gone for a spin in turn 2.
Boy, we see that left rear quarter.
It's been hanging out. Everybody's got one.
Here we go, because the driver that helped him go for that spin is driver 8.
Well, that's going to help Jeff Gordon.
He's going to be the lucky dog. Can you imagine that?
Okay, what happened to Carl Edwards?
Carl goes down underneath Earnhardt to take the spot.
That didn't look like a payback because, I mean, he didn't do nothing to the 8 car.
No, I don't think 99 did anything to Earnhardt. So
I just think that he just got down the corner and tried to turn under him and get back on the gas.
Yeah.
Ran the back of it. Obviously, Carl Edwards doesn't feel that
different.
way.
Yeah.
Be careful, baby.
This is from Carl's view.
He must have known that was coming. Sounded like he hit the gas, floored the throttle before he. Bobby Hudson, the spotter for Carl Edwards, saying you're okay.
And in fact, Carl has stayed on the lead lap in 19th place. Pit road was closed this time by. It'll be open next lap by, and yellow just in the nick of time.
Oh man, a lot of folks eager to get on the pit road. Matt Kenseth, that persistence paid off. He's still in the lead lap.
So these stops are going to be with 208 laps to go, 207 to go.
My guess is the tire wear is getting much better, but I don't think anyone can run 200 more laps on fuel. So,
all right, we'll see what happens. Bill, here they come.
And this will be very interesting. Big pit stops here. 292 laps on the board. Kevin Harvick needs more grip up off, but the car's been very good. It's a slight air pressure adjustment. They really haven't touched it all day, Dave.
That was a good run for Mark Martin. His car came in at the end, which is what you want. He moved all the way to 6th. No chassis adjustments on the car, no air pressure adjustments on the tires, just 4 new ones. Matt?
The wedge adjustment really hasn't seemed to help Rusty Wallace's car. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment in the right rear, working on his 8th Martinsville victory. Marty.
Matt Sterling Marlin hits pit road running 7th, too tight at the start of the run. He said it actually was pretty good at the end of the run. One round down on the right rear wedge bolt, trying to loosen that car up just a bit, but they're very good at the end of the run.
Oh, we got guys bouncing off each other in pit lane. Casey Kane and Jeff Green got together and nailed Terry Labonte. A lot of damage there to Jeff Green's car, and it's just, these pits are so tight. We talked about at the top of the show, BP. Watch when these guys leave. Watch Terry Labonte leave. The 43 comes out, 9 gets squeezed in by the 99 of Carl Edwards, then Terry Labonte gets tagged in the right rear.
They're only 4 wide on a 3 wide racetrack, so
looks like everybody got away with it. And off the pit stops, Kevin Harvick out first. Green flag is out as we come back to Martinsville. Almost at 300 laps in the Subway 500. Kevin Harvick is the leader. Kurt Busch is second. Rusty Wallace, Jimmie Johnson, Jeff Burton, the rest of the top 5.
And this is the tough place to be on the lead lap and have the lead lap cars down on the inside because it's so hard to pass on the outside. As you see, actually, Busch lost his spot to Nemechek there.
yeah, he's finally just said, okay, Joe, go ahead, and we'll see. If you're fast enough to stand front, okay, I'll go ahead. But respect me as a leader when you come back and let me by in case I run up on the back of you. Matt.
Well, I've caught up with Ray Everdam. Ray, some incidents or close calls here on pit road. You've had some conversations with the 43 team. Tell me about them.
Well, just, really there was an accident leaving. That was an accident. But then felt like those guys getting out the second time, Jeff run Casey up against the fence there. Accidents happened the first time. And I just went over and told them guys, look, tell them that first time was an accident. Don't be messing around like that on pit road. And I don't know what happened after that, but there was no pushing or shoving from our part. Point is, accidents happen, nobody got hurt, but there's no reason to be doing something on purpose to retaliate afterwards. That's what made me mad.
What Ray's talking about, we saw the incident on pit road when Casey Kane and Jeff Green left. Well, both cars came back down pit road a second time.
And left at the same time. And this time the 43 car tried to run the 9 up into the outside retaining wall coming off pit road.
Well, also, when 43 went into his pit, the 9 hit pit, the 43 went around, and the 43 cut it awfully close to the right front of that car. So,
that would be the view from Ray's perspective. This is the second step.
Yeah, what? Okay, well, they're already in. But see, even before that, when they came in, the 43 came very close to the 9 when he entered his pit.
And they're talking about things and discussing things. And
hey, where's your favorite restaurant? Where do you?
Yeah. It's Greg Stedman, Jeff Green's crew chief for Petty Enterprises, having the chat with Ray.
And Ray's right. I mean, that first deal was just, 4 cars being in an area that only being really wide enough for 2 cars at the most.
While we watch Kevin Harvick lead, just update you that Matt Kenseth lost a lap on pit road at the end of this caution flag, so he is now a lap down. You got that story for us, Dave?
Sure do, Alan. That was his second of 2 pit stops during the caution. On pit stop 1, they replaced the battery but did not have a chance to get the cover back on. So he left pit road, came back in, they replaced the cover, put left sides on. That's when they went back to green. Matt's biggest complaint, he says, guys, I'll never be able to run without right side tires, but they had no more time to put them on.
Oh, no.
There you see, he's back in 30th place and a lap down. Wow. And got a big hole to dig out of.
Yeah.
He is the lowest running of the championship chasers. In fact, the only one not on the lead lap at this point.
Jeff Gordon is 21st position, but on the last caution flag, he was the recipient of the lucky dog, getting back on the lead lap.
So that's tough for Kenseth as we check the championship chase standings as they run in the race.
Dale Earnhardt Jr., the day car, just continues to drop a few more points to Kurt Busch.
Matt Kenseth, remember, had troubles last Saturday night in Charlotte on a couple of different occasions, overcame them for an 11th place finish on the lead lap, but now he's got another hole to dig out of here in Martinsville today. Dale Earnhardt Jr., 20th place, BP.
Man. Marty, what's going on with the 8 car?
This car's way too tight, BP, and check out the left rear tire that has come off of Junior's car. Usually there's holes where the tire guys can measure what the tread depth that is left. There's nothing here on the left rear to measure. This is the right rear. There's at least something to measure over here, but on the left rear, absolutely nothing left.
That's what they were concerned about yesterday, the left side tires wearing out on these cars, and so obviously a valid point.
Grill area all caved in on Jeff Gordon's car there behind him?
Just a little bit. I think also the left side tires are so low on air pressures. That can't help the wear of the first 10 or 15 laps on a tire because it's just, you got to be just sliding those things.
Well, Goodyear recommends that the teams use 11 pounds of air pressure, but Goodyear told me yesterday they're not naive enough to think that they don't drop the air pressure trying to find some grip. And see, we know that teams are in single digits, 8, 9 pounds of air pressure on the left side.
I mean, it looked like they're flat. Look at Junior's left rear tire when he's going down the straightaway on the gas. The thing looks like it's flat.
For Junior and Jeff Gordon here as they race for 20th place. They've only got less than a half a lap before they're caught by leader Kevin Harvick.
And we've only been racing since the green flag waved for a few laps.
Yeah, lap 297 the green waved.
17 laps of racing and they're already half lap down. More than a half lap down.
Well, that struggle of a season it's been for Kevin Harvick. I think it's a fair word, struggle, huh?
Oh, yes. Those guys have not had too much luck.
Just 4 top 5 finishes this whole season. I don't think any of us would have expected them to have that few this year. Certainly Kevin and his team didn't expect that.
I talked to Todd Berry, the crew chief on this 29 car this morning, and he said they felt like they were going to be pretty good today. And I told him yesterday watching the car in happy hour, it looked like that the car was very good, and it looked like it was a racetrack that mechanical thing, springs and shocks, that they were okay. So I said that tells me that maybe you're struggling with your body on the big tracks.
Did he agree?
Yeah, I think.
You think?
I think.
Without saying so many words?
Yeah.
Kevin Harvick, a 4-time NASCAR Next L Cup winner, made an interesting announcement on Friday night. Opened up, kind of had a public unveiling for the press and so on, of a new 50,000 square foot race shop for the team that he owns, Kevin Harvick Incorporated. He's going to field a NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series entry next year, as he has this year, but Ron Hornaday is going to drive it next year. But he's also going to run a NASCAR Busch Series team full-time with Tony Stewart and Tony Raines going to split the races between them.
So it's good.
Kevin's a busy boy. Got a lot of things going on racing. Now, how about second-place driver Kurt Busch? He's fallen almost 2 seconds back. Matt?
Kurt says the front tires are just not gripping. That's what he's telling Jimmy Finnegan's crew chief. They took a quarter pound out of both rear tires and made a wedge adjustment. Jimmy also told Kurt that the left front is showing a lot of wear compared to the other 3 tires. And also, he just came back on the radio and says, it is tight from the center off. We're going to put the air back in the right rear they took out the last stop.
Well, you know, that left front wear, Matt, that's a good thing if you can wear a left front tire out at Martinsville, I think, because that means you got your left side in the racetrack.
Oh, trouble, turn 1. Scott Riggs has gone around.
And there's a piece of debris coming off turn 4. It's the rear tail panel off the 42 car of Jamie McMurray.
That's actually what they called the caution for, Benny. And at the time they called the caution, Scott Riggs got bumped and spun around and has got some troubles. What is this, number 9? Caution 9.
Jimmy Howell using that right arm today a great deal.
Alan, looks like you could be with that group right there. Kind of limping around.
Limping, yeah. Yeah, let's not go there. All right, so now you got 179 laps to go. You were just in.
Can I make it? No, I can't make it.
No, you can't make it, so.
Nope, don't come in.
You're just in about 30 laps ago.
I say don't come in, but you know what? Tires are so important here today. You may come in. Go ahead and put them on while you got the chance.
Obviously, from 15 on back, they probably will, one way or the other.
I'd be surprised if those guys up front stay out.
I think I'm with you on that.
All right, we'll see. Green.
I think you're going to be surprised.
Pit road is open.
Who's going to be surprised, me or BP?
Harvick did not pit. Bush. Who's going to be the first one to go on pit road?
They're all staying out.
40 car, Sterling Marlin.
And they're not even following them.
That's 10th place. And he's about the Lone Ranger on that. Under caution in the Subway 500, you're watching NASCAR on NBC.
In front of you, come on, you're clear, you got it.
NBC's coverage of the Subway 500 is brought to you by the Home Depot, NASCAR's home improvement warehouse. By Subway, it's what to eat when you want to eat fresh. Subway, eat fresh. By Aflac, ask about it at work. And by Wrangler, makers of Wrangler Jeans Company, a new generation of Wrangler.
We are under caution in the Subway 500, and they've got the blowers out to try and clean up some more of the rubber and bits and pieces of debris and so forth around the racetrack. And how about the little strategy calls here for most of the front runners not to stop on this yellow?
Yeah, I'm not surprised really, because they have to stop at least one more time. Matt, what's the strategy down on pit road?
Well, they're talking about it up on top of the pit box. So, Jimmy, when are you going to pit next?
That I can't really see. We'll have to see how these cautions fall, but our car right now is pretty tight. We got to make some adjustments if we're going to do anything today.
He is currently second on the restart. Dave?
With Greg Zipadelli now. Looks to me like you've got a fast but finicky race car. Won't turn, turns too well, won't turn again.
Yeah, that's about it, too. The Home Depot Chevrolet was pretty good. We just needed to turn the center a little bit better. We put a rubber in the right rear, and we just killed the forward bite. So we just stuck one in the left rear and just keep working on it. We need to go about 50 laps to get a caution, so we come in. We got another little bit of a game plan there to change some more stuff on this Chevrolet and see if we can make it better. Where everybody's so equal. I mean, you're talking about a half a tenth a lap, but we'll keep working on it.
And they'll keep playing follow the leader on the pit strategy, guys.
Extended cleanup underway here in Martinsville, so let's take advantage of the opportunity to squeeze in another break. You're watching NASCAR on NBC. Wow! Bumping, banging into the final corners. No traffic ahead. Craven rides Jarrett up the racetrack. Here they come off the turn. Ricky Craven is a NASCAR and Winston Cup winner. What a finish in Martinsville. And wasn't it, huh?
That was a terrific finish. Good for Ricky Craven. But that was some time ago.
A couple years ago.
And what have you done for me lately? He's no longer in the 32 car.
Yeah, but you know what? I talked to him Thursday night, and you saw him there too, at a function we were at. He's very happy about his Boston Red Sox. All right. Marty Dale Earnhardt Jr. has been in like 5 times under this yellow flag. What's going on?
Very good counting, Alan. 5 pit stops for the 8 car, and let's talk to Tony Uri Sr. here about what all happened there. 5 pit stops, and you guys had to go over the wall. What were you doing?
Just trying to move the track bar, but got so many cars around this place, you ain't got time to work on it. So couldn't get it moved right. Every time we'd get it loose, we'd have to take off again. So we finally got it that last time.
All right, they finally got the track bar where they want it. 5 stops. The last one in 19 seconds. They've done a good job trying to make that 8 car better. It's been extremely tight all day.
And just part of what is frustrating, Tony, when the cars are lined up around here under the caution, look where the pace car is and where the last car is over there in turn 3.
And they're doubled up right now, so
when they're
put those cars in a line,
single file, they go almost all the way around the racetrack.
So you have to come in the pit, and you've got about maybe, I don't know what, 15 seconds, 20 seconds before you have to go, because here comes the pace car.
Unlike a bigger track where you might have a minute under a caution like this to get some work done. We're at a bigger track next weekend. Doubleheader for you, Saturday 1 Eastern TNT, the Aaron's 312 for the NASCAR Busch Series. Then next Sunday, noon Eastern, Nextel Cup Racing from Atlanta, presented by the Home Depot. We start with Discover Card. Countdown to green. There will be 4 races left in the chase for the championship when we get to Atlanta.
All right. I thought we were going green, but
some of these guys are happy that there's only 4 left.
Yeah, the way they're
You walk around that garage area, they can't wait till it's over, some of them.
Here's a bad note for Kurt Busch. If you're a friend or fan of his, our Nextel race fact. Leader of the most laps has failed to win 10 of the last 12 Martinsville races.
I figured that's where you were going with that.
Yep. Kurt Busch has led the most laps so far today.
How many laps has he led?
119. BG.
But see, if the 29 car stays in front the rest of the way...
Yeah, he's led 82. So that's why Kurt dropped back.
Yeah, exactly. He knew that. He knew that. So
yeah, he had the numerology. There's one little issue there. That big word you said. If.
If, yeah.
Pace car's off. Going to go racing with 165 laps to go. 23 cars on the lead lap, including Robbie Gordon.
All that fight.
Who's the lucky dog. Yep.
Got his lap back.
Travis Quapple 0-6 and Kurt Busch goes to the corner. It wouldn't stick and up the hill he goes.
That happened last time on the restart too. He's been having a real hard time on the restarts passing anybody on that outside group.
Ricky Rudd in 21 is the 25th place car. Remember had an incident earlier in the race where he got spun around.
Rusty Wallace a little bit loose getting into the corner there. That car took a slide.
And by the way, Dale Jr. back in 22nd after his 5 pit stops under that last caution.
See Rusty trying to get by the 22 car.
Jimmie Johnson currently in the 4th position as he tries to go by some of those cars on the inside, and it's tough sledding on that high side.
Now,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, now Rusty, now that he's on the bottom, he'll try to work down on the low side of Nemechek. There he goes, taking a look. But he'd rather be there.
He had to jam the brakes there, didn't he?
You know, I love these folks here in Martinsville to death. Blake Campbell, the president of the racetrack, but I do not understand, to save my life, when they redone this racetrack, they did not put some variable banking in it. You know, change the banking a little bit from the bottom groove to the outside groove to give us two definite grooves.
Yeah, boy, they did a great job at Homestead.
Oh, at Homestead, beautiful. Used to be one that followed the line.
And it was a flat racetrack.
Yep.
Yeah, it was the same thing. It was tough to get that outside working.
They had that variable banking. I think it's 18, 19, 20 degrees. And last fall, the Homestead 400 was just terrific.
You think that's the wave of the future with these racetracks, huh?
I think so. I've always been a fan of variable banking since I went to Tucson Raceway Park and saw it on a 3/8 mile. It was just terrific.
You know, the flat racetracks are fun to drive. I mean, I've always liked them. There's a lot of guys here that like them, but you've got to have 2 grooves. That's what makes them fun, so we can race side by side.
Well, don't you think, or do you think, that as they get a couple of races on this track, that outside lane will become more usable? I mean, a new surface.
What we hope.
Yeah, we see this problem at every track where they have a new surface put down, right?
Yeah. Hopefully, right, it will come in. Like Kansas. I mean, Kansas, although it was a new racetrack, we're just starting to see great racing at Kansas because the pavement's been around a while and it's getting weathered, and that's what makes these racetracks so fun. You can run side by side, 3 abreast on them.
Rusty Wallace trying his best to get by the lap car of Travis Quapple. Travis is currently in the 26th position. And Scott Wimmer, the 22 car, is battling Travis for the 26th position.
And that's the advantage of being up front on the restart. And I mean being all the way up front, because Harvick can clear the lap cars going into turn 1 and drive away while these other guys are struggling trying to get past the lap cars.
And just see Matt Kenseth there creeping into the fray with a 17 car. He's the only one of the championship contenders not on the lead lap. He is 1, 2, 3, 4. He's the 5th car 1 lap down. So all those guys you were just talking about, Wally, Quapple and Nemechek and all that, he's trying to get past those guys and get a caution and get a lucky dog and maybe get back around into the thick of this.
Yeah, those guys are racing just as hard to be the first guy a lap down because of the lucky dog, right, Dave?
And so far, that electrical system, guys, is living. Replaced the battery just past halfway. But if there is anything wrong with the alternator, which they haven't touched, as you know, the battery cannot power this car for the rest of the race. So that's still a question.
Yeah, not especially with all the fans and the blowers that you have to run on a racetrack like this. You got brake blowers, and there's probably some blowers on the rear end cooler or whatever. A lot of cars run a lot of blowers on a racetrack like this. So, yeah, got a lot of strain on the battery.
So Kenseth soldiering along there in 28th place for now. Mixed in and among the lead lap cars.
And one reason that we have alternator problems on these cars is under hood temperature. It just gets so hot under there. The alternator gets so hot it just simply quits working. We saw that at Talladega with 2 or 3 cars.
And today, fortunately, it's not a really hot day. But still, even if it's not 80, 90 degrees, these cars are very hot thanks to the rotors glowing.
Yes.
And a lot of other temperature that's happening underneath the hood.
And the exhaust pipe's been about 1,100 degrees.
Jimmie Johnson kind of bottled up in all of this non-lead lap traffic as he tries to work his way through. Johnson, the 4th place car. Last Saturday night's winner, Lowe's Motor Speedway, Charlotte.
And that's the thing about this place. Even the cars that are a lap down are running good. I mean, they're a lap down, but they're still running fast. And it's tough to get around.
Now, there's been a little action spot here in the pack for about the last 2 or 3 laps. Elliott Sadler, Jeremy Mayfield, and company.
You mean they've been bouncing off each other? Is that the action spot?
Yeah, there's been a little paint traded. A few rubber marks placed where they didn't used to be.
Ryan Newman going by the 30 car of Jeff Burton. That goes in the 5th position.
That's actually the 3rd spot he's picked up in about the last 5 laps, Marty.
Ryan loves the chassis right now. He's got a very fast race car. Problem is working through all the traffic that he has to work through, but he's got a little open racetrack right now. He said, I think, honestly, us and Mark Martin are the best cars on the longer runs.
Ryan Newman passed Tony Stewart. Then he passed Mark Martin. Then you just saw him pass Jeff Burton. So he's picked up 3 spots since his restart.
And Marty mentioned the 6 car. Oh, we got Bobby Labonte spinning off.
Oh, and he gets into Schrader. Oh, Schrader was running an 11th spot.
And Jeff Green is stalled up against the inside guardrail off turn 4. He gets his car going again.
I hope Kenny doesn't have a whole lot of damage over there. He was having a good run.
Well, I would hate this to be the bearer of bad news there, Wally, but I think he caught it pretty good.
Yeah.
When we see him come around the corner, I think the right front's going to be pointed a little awkwardly.
It's going south instead of north.
I don't know. I think it's okay. As long as it doesn't rub, but... All right, now you're coming in for tires. I don't care what you guys say.
Hey, I agreed with you last time. Come on.
I'm sure Weber will tell me different.
Pit road closed for the moment. And let's check it out.
Well, couldn't tell.
Now, I was looking at the front wreck and forgot to look back and see what happened to the 43 car. What caused him to be stalled up against the inside wall?
That was around that action spot we talked about.
Maybe Earnhardt can help us. Oh, there's the 43 car right there in front of him, so... How about the 43 getting hit? That would normally do it.
Man.
And look at that, a lot of damage on that 8 car now.
Casey Kane.
I see Bobby's getting bumped from somebody. I think that was Schrader.
Yeah, I'll second that. Pit road's open.
All right.
Jamie McMurray stays out. Looks like all the other leaders are coming in. Bill?
Quote of the day from crew chief Todd Barrier to Kevin Harvick. We're darned if we do, and we're darned if we don't. So come on in, 4 tires, and probably enough fuel to get them to the finish. The car was really good. They're hoping it stays that way. Burns.
When they started talking changes with Mark's car, they didn't really want to do much. Mark said, are you sure we want to change it? Just a slight chassis adjustment to help a tight race car. Matt?
1 can of fuel. They've already gone up on the track bar, and they've put the air pressure back in the rear tires that they took out earlier. He's down and away. To Marty.
Matt tight to start the run for Ryan Newman. Pretty good at the end. He said, I'm only a quarter degree tight. One round up on the track bar, a round of wedge out of the left side. Ryan in that first pit stall trying to win the race off pit road, but he will not do it. Looks like he'll leave fourth.
And it looks like the 48 car is going to win the battle of all the cars that pitted.
Boy, that's
big.
They did it when it counts, man.
That is big.
That's good.
Huge. Fourth to first off pit road for Jimmie Johnson.
That's not, kind of a race. You have to stop there right when you get past that line until the rest of the field goes by.
There goes Burton, Rusty, Tony. Where's Mark? Man, 9 car.
Caution flag out for this mess off of turn number 4, and about 140 lap sprint to the finish coming up. Pace cars off. We're coming to the restart, and have we got a running order for you?
Green flag pass on the right.
Yeah, explain this to me.
Matt Kenseth did not pit under the yellow. Tail end of the lead lap. Jamie McMurray, Sterling Marlin, Jeff Gordon, Carl Edwards, Terry Labonte, 1st through 5th, did not pit under the yellow flag.
And Scott Wimmer, the 22 car, is trying to be the first car. One lap. He's a couple of laps down, isn't he?
Yeah, you got Kyle Petty and Nemechek fighting for the lucky dog spot right there.
I'm sorry, Wimmer would be first car a lap down, VP.
Yes, I see him now.
Okay, there it is.
So now we got some guys out there on older tires trying to get some track position and steal a good finish away. You got Kenseth out there trying to hope for a caution so he can come back around and regain a run for a good finish.
Jeff Gordon, 24 cars, moved up to the 2nd position. Sterling Marlin in 3rd. Oh, yeah, this is
interesting.
And very interesting.
Just kind of felt a little kick in intensity there, didn't you?
And then you got the 48 car, who all the cars that did pit, he beat everybody out.
That's right.
Jimmie Johnson guys.
By the way, Ken Schrader behind the wall. The damage on his car from the crash.
I guess there was more damage than it looked like.
Oh, the 25 car goes for a slide up in 3 and 4. A little help as well.
Ryan Vickers manages to hang on and soldier on. It's been kind of a tough day for him. This is a tough track for rookie drivers. It's a tough place to learn.
It's a tough track for anybody. It's a hard racetrack to drive and not abuse your equipment.
Ryan Vickers is 2 laps down in 30th place in that 25 car for Hendrick Motorsports. By the way, Ricky Rudd was the lucky dog at that last caution, so the 21 car there coming through the picture, lead lap.
There you go.
22nd place, trying to rally.
You know, by the way, we haven't done the thing that we usually do.
The waterfowl thing?
Where's our posters or something? Wait, I don't see one, so in the truck, please cue the duck.
Oh, nicely. Nice, Ryan. That's good. Our Aflac NASCAR Next No Cup trivia question. The only championship contender of the 10 this year without a win on a short track, to his credit.
Let's see.
I'm going to say Mark Martin.
Ryan Newman.
Mark Martin?
Oh, this year or ever?
Ever. All right, come on.
And the winner is...
They're not going to get it.
Jimmie Johnson.
Jimmie Johnson. 11 Nextel Cup Series wins, all on super speedways. He's come close. He finished 2nd to Dale Jr. at Richmond in May.
Well, he just moved by.
Yeah.
99 car. Carl Edwards goes into 4th.
At some point, you just have to give up and throw the answer up there, folks. I mean, you know.
Yeah, exactly. It's obvious we were not going to get it, so it's time to tell the folks.
Mark Martin.
Was it the blank expressions that gave us
Yeah, just a little bit. How about Jimmie Johnson? Can he make it back-to-back wins and get that?
Oh, here comes the yellow.
Scott Wimmer.
Wow. Scott Wimmer was the first car lap down, but since he was the cause of the yellow,
he will not be the lucky dog. But what a huge break for Matt Kenseth.
Yep. Gets all the way back around, stays on the lead lap.
Pace car comes out, picks up the leader, and his tail end of the lead lap gamble, last caution, hits the jackpot.
And now's the time to go in and get some tires.
Yes. Now you come in. Don't know if Kyle was even close enough to pop him.
And by the way, notice the safer barriers here at Martinsville in place on the inside walls as well as the outside. Very nice. You see the safer barrier there in front of the backstretch wall protecting the garage area.
We've seen some cars come down and hit those inside walls awfully hard, so I think it was a good idea to do that.
Take a break here with 128 laps to go. Matt Kenseth back on the lead lap, hoping for a good finish to keep his championship chase alive. Half a lap of the restart. We check our Little Debbie lap leaders. So far, Kurt Busch still the man.
Still has a slim lead over Kevin Harvick.
I guess, yeah.
And remember, five bonus points for leading the most laps in the race toward that championship.
Yeah, that's
All right, here we go.
Jamie McMurray, the leader. Jeff Gordon, second.
Nemechek.
He wants that inside line. The 42 car wants the inside. Please let me have the inside. Please, Joe.
Joe's not going to do it.
Joe didn't want to hear it, did he?
Joe just earned his lap back.
And that's just going to cost the lead to McMurray. Gordon goes in front. Wow.
I see a lot of red and blue clad fans jumping up and down out there.
He gets 5 bonus points for leading the lap.
Another remarkable rally for Jeff Gordon and his team. He was a lap down after struggling for most of this race. Billy got the lucky dog at lap 292, used a little strategy to get himself up front. Now he's got the lead.
They sure do, and that car is better up there too. I just talked to Robbie Loomis. You get out of traffic, you run up front. That car is much, much better. Not a great race car, but these guys, for the second consecutive week, as you pointed out, Alan, and they have not given up. They work very hard. They listen to the driver. They make the changes, and they put this guy out front. He cannot make it till the end without stopping.
Here comes Jimmie Johnson finally clearing 45 car Kyle Petty, so he's got a little bit of open ground. See if he can catch up on Jamie McMurray.
I think McMurray wants that lead back. The UBP, the way he's kind of stalking Gordon's bumper there.
That's a very aggressive stance the 42 car is taking. Like, you just let me get up there. Just let me get close.
Showing him the nose into the corner.
And Gordon's using a late entry into the corner, which he's going to have to be careful because the 42 wants to dive in there. So Jeff is turning in late, trying to get to the bottom, but he's getting it off the corner a lot better. But watch when he goes down into turn 3. He kind of hangs out there a little bit. See, the 42 will come down on him. That's where you got to be careful. Jamie's going to have to present that nose all the way to the door.
Yeah, for Jeff to give him room.
Matt, has he said anything on the radio?
BP, he's been pretty quiet. He stayed out earlier because the car is good right now. He loves the balance, saving his tires. Look for the 42 to pit somewhere in the window of lap, maybe say 410 to 425 as they're side by side.
So obviously Jeff Gordon just wanted those bonus points. He knew that he couldn't stay up there, but he did want the bonus points. He was going to be aggressive enough to do that. And when Jimmy gets there, he'll probably just get out of the way.
Yeah, here comes Jimmie Johnson. He caught those guys pretty quick.
You see, 56.
And he's on fresher tires.
62 lap fresher tires.
Yeah, so this is just a matter of time before Jimmie Johnson makes his move.
Johnson pitted at lap 356, guys, and Gordon and McMurray at 294.
Well, Johnson wants to get by these guys and get going as fast as he can because he knows he's got Harvick back there. Harvick is trying to get through some slower traffic right now, and he's got Busch and Rusty right behind him. So he doesn't want to get hung up. Jeff Gordon's giving him a little time. There, Jeff's giving him room right there. So that's going to save a lot of time for Jimmie Johnson.
So second place for the 48 car as he works on making it back-to-back wins after his victory last Saturday at Lowe's Motor Speedway, and got to tip the cap to the pit crew. They got him off pit road ahead of Kevin Harvick.
Absolutely.
Like you were talking talking about earlier, Wally. Got him the opportunity to try and get away from Harvick.
Yeah, it's a lot easier. Well, it's not, I mean, it's easier for the driver if you pass a guy on pit lane than it is to try to pass him on the racetrack. But those crew guys work hard trying to get that done for you.
Tell you what, this 42 car is no slouch. He's running pretty doggone fast.
Kevin Harvick so far has been flicking off the fastest laps the last 2 or 3.
It's a race for 5th and 6th. Kurt Busch, Rusty Wallace. Spent a lot of time up in those top 3 or 4 positions all race long. These two drivers have. The Martinsville Master. I almost said Martinsville. I've been listening to a lot of people around Boston these last few days. I'm not sure why.
Yeah, when you come to this racetrack and you start thinking about teams and drivers that have a chance to win, you always got to put Rusty Wallace in the conversation. No matter what happens, he runs so well at this racetrack.
Let's listen to the engine here on Rusty's car. Turning that thing. I don't know what he's getting RPM-wise, but he's... Oh, okay. Well, let's take a look.
You ask.
As I receive. 9,300, but he had to pass the car. Let's see what he gets down into turn 3.
A little over 4,800 RPMs and accelerates up to...
That's about 9370.
So what kind of mile per hour did he get up to? Probably about 116, 18, 115. And goes down to
57.
57
And it feels like about 17 when you're out there. Feels like you're parked.
Of course, Rusty winning here back in April, ending that 105 race dry streak, and looking for Martinsville victory number 8. If he can pull it off, he has been the master at this racetrack.
Look at that, laps led 35.85. In 9 races, he has led the most laps. Wow, that is impressive. We knew he was good, I just didn't realize he was that good.
And if you're a Rusty fan and you're worried about the fact that he hasn't been up front a whole lot today, he only led the final 45 laps in April when he won here. We're not to that point yet.
See, Rusty Wallace is trying pretty hard because those front brake rotors are starting to glow a very bright red.
I guess. So Rusty running in 6th place.
Jeff Gordon's running pretty good on those tires right now.
Kevin Harvick trying to get up to Jeff Gordon and see if he can take 3rd place away. Harvick on the fresher tires by the, 62 laps.
Well, Harvick is faster, there's no doubt, but you know, we've seen all day today just how difficult it is to pass at this racetrack.
Yeah, you need to, you're working the same piece of real estate, and it's hard to make a pass on the outside. You're hoping that the guy will slip up and slide up the racetrack. Like I said, Gordon is making a really late turn in, but he's getting off the turns really well.
And that's one reason he's able to get off, because he makes that late entry, able to get to the middle of the corner much better and get turned quicker to get off the corner.
Here's what needs to happen for Jeff Gordon, I think. He pitted at lap 294. He needs him to run about another 25 laps or so and have a caution come out, because then that's going to be 70 laps or so on the other guys' tires also, and put them in a position where maybe they're all going to pit also to get that fresh rubber.
And so he's got track position now, and that's not a bad strategy, because I think they will pit. If we get a caution flag with about 75 to go, I think most all these cars will pit and change tires.
So that's what Jeff needs to happen, I think, to kind of get a leg up, or even up anyway, on some of these other guys. Harvick, he just wants to see the 24 go away.
Yeah, exactly.
And McMurray, of course, on the same pit schedule as Jeff Gordon. What are they thinking down there, Matt?
Al, they're about 25 or 30 laps away from pitting, but really, when you look at this team, they started the year with a lot of high expectations. It hasn't been the season they had hoped for. They just missed getting into the chase. having a good solid fall though. Look at the last 5 races. They've finished 8th or better 4 times. He hasn't won since he scored that first win at Charlotte 2 years ago. They would love to end this season on a very positive note, going to victory lane and setting this team up for a title run next season.
Rusty Wallace taking a spot away from Kurt Busch.
That's right, going into the 5th position. And watching this scoring monitor the last few laps, Rusty Wallace has been one of the fastest cars on the racetrack.
See Ken Schrader back on the racetrack after repairs to the right front of his car. Unfortunately for Kenny, 16 laps down.
Jimmie Johnson has pulled up to the, well, there's no rear bumper, but yeah, it was in the back of the 42 car.
He lost that earlier.
You see, Jimmie Johnson has too much trouble getting around the 42 of Jamie McMurray.
And Jimmie is also another driver making that late entry into the corner.
Well, McMurray knew that 48 car was much faster. He just pulled over and gave it to him. Knew he was on better tires, so I'm sure he was given that information by his team.
So Jimmie Johnson out in front, 8th in the chase for the Nextel Cup, entering today, looking for his 6th win of the season. Dale Earnhardt Jr., unscheduled pit stop.
Rear brake, the right rear.
Wow.
2nd place driver in the championship on pit road with 94 laps to go. What are they saying, Marty?
Check it out, guys.
Alan, this has just been a struggle for the 8 team today. They have really had problems. Now Junior says the right rear brakes are locked up. That's a big problem for Junior. And he's going to come slowly down pit road to his pit crew. They've tried everything to make this car better today. It's been too tight for most of the afternoon, making 5 pit stops under 1 caution. They're going to look at the right rear brake caliper, see if it is indeed locked up, and put on 4 tires. Obviously, they either fixed it or it is not locked up, but 4 fresh tires for the 8 car, who is about to go down a lap. It's been a big struggle for these guys today.
Yeah, that's and even if it's not locked up right now, Marty, if it's locking up when he hits the brakes, that makes the car really sideways, getting into corner.
Oh, he hit Dale Jarrett. Caution flag is out. Went off into that corner and maybe didn't have the brake pedal he was looking for. And Dale Jarrett happened to be the one to stop him.
Hope he's not flying home with DJ.
And here's your strategy situation.
Yeah, that's right. Here we are. 90 laps to go.
Yes, definitely. Wow, look at that. +4 for Jimmie Johnson. As it
Jeff Gordon
now
moved into 2nd position, only 64 back. See the rest of them.
A couple hundred.
It's hard to imagine the winner coming from the final 5. I would think the winner would obviously be in the top 5.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you on that.
The road is closed. Junior's going to come in anyway.
Well, the penalty is that you just got to go to the back of the longest line.
So another big moment in the championship, this time for the 2nd place driver as he pits under the green with 94 laps to go here in Martinsville. The pit road going to be open now for the lead lap cars, and we'll see who comes in behind him. What do you think? I think they're all in.
Yeah, I would think so.
That would be my guess.
Feels like a rotor's about to come off from right rear.
Sterling Marlin stays out. Everybody else, it looks like, is coming in. Dave?
Leader Jimmie Johnson needed to come in, make a chassis adjustment. It will be wedge and track bar. They will take on 4 tires. Jeff Gordon in front of him will get a track bar adjustment. 4 tires for him as well. Teammates trying not to get in each other's way. Get an on-off of pit road and hold those top spots. Matt?
Dave, the 42, Jamie McMurray already in. They're going to make a track bar adjustment. Going to go up, try to free the race car up. 4 tire change for McMurray. Marty.
Ryan Newman at pit road, Matt, running the 8th position. Car a little bit too loose at the beginning of the run. Not bad, though. Ryan said, I'll let you make the call. Matt Borland decided half around in the left rear, trying to tighten up the 12th car. Again, at the end of the run, they're very fast, but again, they lose a lot of spots on pit road.
Oh, man. Martin gets in the back of Jamie McMurray.
That looked worse than New York traffic. Good gracious alive.
I don't know how those guys weren't bouncing off each other all the way down pit lane. It was tight.
And let's see how they sort that scoring out at the exit of pit road, too. Yellow flag is out, 88 laps to go. Get ready for the restart after this. It's getting tense here at Martinsville Speedway as we wind toward the concluding laps of the Subway 500. Intense action on and off pit road under this yellow flag.
And watch this as these cars battle off pit road. 6:39, and they all stop in front of them. Man.
Yeah, the 42 just
come on.
jammed on the brake when he left pit. They're waiting for the paddle guy to say go.
Check it up.
And they got, I don't think that's going to do a whole lot, but here's the race off.
Well, Jimmie Johnson wins.
Did it again.
Two-car of Rusty Wallace in the 19, beats the 29.
That's Jeff Green sitting in fourth spot right now.
Man, green flag. Jeff Green in the Petty 43, right side tires only on his pit stop. Jeremy Mayfield, left side tires only to move up to 6th, and the first two on the track did not pit. Marty?
Yeah, talk about your pit strategy. Tony Glover and Sterling Marlin last pitted lap 373. At that moment, Glover said, "You're out for the rest of the day," and another caution down the racetrack.
And that might have come from Dale Earnhardt Jr.
He is slow down the backstretch.
There to the garage area.
He might. I thought I saw liquid coming out the back of that car, guys. And he's gone behind the wall to the garage.
And we see fluid come from under the car, some kind of...
Wow, what was that?
That's a gear. That is a pinion out of the back of the car, I believe. Wow.
Well, that could have something to do with him thinking he was locking up the right rear rotor. Marty?
He said he's going to need a push, Wally. He has no drive line. Obviously, he broke the drive shaft in the 8 car.
Broke a rear gear, I think, Marty. That's the pinion.
Pinion gear right there.
And now they get out the crash cart, like Dave Burns showed us on Dave Discovers. Discover Card Countdown to Green.
They better grab that with a shovel.
That pinion that we saw on the 8 car, that's exactly the same thing that happened to the 40 car in Kansas.
Mm-hmm. And it sounds ugly.
Oh, yeah.
Listen.
Come apart, guys.
Yeah, he did come apart.
Yes.
The drive shaft's under there somewhere flopping around. Marty?
Yeah, BP broke a pinion, as you said. They're going to put a new drive shaft in as well and a new gear. This is what a tough break. This 8 team has done so well in the chase for the championship, not finishing out of the top 10. And the races they were worried about, oddly enough, were Kansas and Charlotte, where they finished in the top 10 in both of them. This is a race where they thought they could come win, make up some ground on Kurt Busch, but it's going to be a big damage to their championship aspirations today.
Show you the struggles that have been for Dale Earnhardt Jr. here at Martinsville today.
They did use a shovel.
Good idea. That thing is hot.
Yeah.
Probably 300 degrees. Not been too good a day for Junior. Gets knocked aside once, twice, 3 times.
And he's knocked somebody else aside.
Yeah, okay, finally he gets his turn.
Had to make the 5 pit stops under the 1 caution, trying to get the track bar adjusted.
Then he runs in the back of the 43 car. Then he hits the 88 car, I'm sorry. Spins him around, and finally the pinion breaks on the car.
It's unbelievable.
Somebody's lucky they didn't run into that.
All right, Marty.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. Sitting in the car and talking with some folks now, and we're going to get in and get a word with him in a moment. The team working very diligently to get the car fixed. Junior's had a very frustrating day today. Junior, this hasn't been a very fun day, has it?
No, it ain't been that good. We struggled all day trying to get the car to turn. I got in the back down 99 accidentally, ran over my buddy Dale Jarrett out there accidentally. We've been having a terrible day. My car beat all the heck, and finally the ring and pinion broke in the rear end. It had been skipping and jumping off the corner where it's under so much load up off the corner that it just tore it up.
wasn't tough enough today, I guess. We just didn't need this to happen during the chase. We were struggling anyways, but this is going to make the day a whole lot worse.
It's certainly not what they needed nor what they expected today at Martinsville.
Yeah, and the gear ratio that they run at this racetrack, the pinion, to get the 650, 667 ratios that they use, they have to use such a small pinion.
Yeah.
It puts a lot of pressure on it.
And you've got a lot more grip.
Yeah.
You're running the tires low.
Yeah,
that's all.
Trying to tear that gear apart.
Yeah.
So how do the championship standings look with Junior now behind the wall?
Well, Jeff Gordon within 75 points.
Remember, the Junior was 24 behind Kurt Busch when the day started. 78 to go. Cleanup continues at Martinsville.
Keep on coming. The leader's not by you. You're good. On the front straightaway, stay low. Stay in front.
That's why they generally don't have trouble selling their seats here at Martinsville. There's a lot of action around this racetrack and plenty more to come in the final 74 laps. Marty?
Well, and Tony Glover's used his opposite strategy all day long. You've got Sterling in the lead, 75 to go. Can he stay there?
Well, I don't know. The Coors Light Dodge has been really good today, and the guys have had a good job or good day on pit road. So I'd rather be first without tires than be 15th with tires. So we'll see. Hopefully we'll make the right adjustment. We'll find out.
Matt?
Jim Long, you got your man up to second. Does he have enough car to win this thing?
I don't know. If we can break away from this lap traffic, get a good restart here, and get away, we may have a shot at the 40 car. We're equal on tires with the 40. Probably one we're worried about is Jimmy behind us. Got a little bit better tires than we do, but we'll see. Got a good restart last time. We'll see what happens this time.
39 laps difference on the tires between Jimmie Johnson, Terry Labonte.
Well, it looks like they got a pretty good restart, so they clear the lap car.
And Jimmie Johnson doesn't, so that's going to be 2 or 3 tenths of a second.
Now Jimmie Johnson sets his sights on his teammate.
But Tony Glover said something very interesting. I think I'd rather be in front with no tires than 15th with tires, so we'll see. Sterling Marlin is almost assured of a good finish here.
Check this out for 8th place. Jeff Gordon, Kurt Busch. After what we saw for most of the day, who'd have thought Gordon had been racing his championship rival for a spot in the final laps?
Not me, and we see Kevin Harvick, the 29 car, who's been so fast today.
Oh, hang on.
Kurt Busch, the points leader, gets a bump from behind, almost loses control. He does lose a position.
That was a good job saving that race car. He had it sideways for a long time.
May lose another position to Jamie McMurray at 42. Kurt Busch is where you don't want to be, on the outside.
2nd place, here comes Jimmie Johnson. Around Terry Labonte. With 70 now, 3 laps to go. 73. Dale Earnhardt Jr. just back out of the garage after repairs to his pinion gear and coming back up to speed. He's in 32nd place, 13 laps down.
Tell you what, that's pretty good to change a gear and drive shaft in 13 laps. I'm impressed.
Kyle Busch is not very happy, I don't think, with Jeff Gordon right there, because I believe Jeff was the one who got him sideways.
That'd be Kurt, by the way.
I mean, yeah.
One of those Busch boys.
He did the Busch race yesterday.
I know. Okay. But anyway, Kurt had his arm out the window, just waving to Jeff, saying, I don't think I appreciated that.
What's up with that? Ryan Newman, he's got it going here by Kevin Harvick.
This is unbelievable. I would have thought that Harvick would be the class of these cars, but here he's getting past.
So that's Newman to 7th. And Harvick fading. How about Ryan Newman, Marty?
Hey, he's got a really good car, Alan. It just takes a little bit for it to come in, and they're very good the longer they run. So if this stays green, that should play to Ryan Newman's hands. He can bypass a few more people.
Oh, Jeff Gordon just body slams Kevin Harvick. Getting into turn 1. Takes the spot.
Oh, let's see what's going to happen when he gets back to him.
I think so. Didn't get back to him.
Didn't quite get back there.
Is there weather in the area we're hearing? That could add a little urgency, huh?
I thought I saw some sprinkles on the camera just a moment ago.
By the way, let me just update the Dale Jr. thing. He's 17 laps down, 33rd place. Not much difference, the 4 laps in the one position, but just got the old computer update. Now, it's getting hot up front.
Sterling is praying for it to rain right now.
Meanwhile, back in the 4th position, Rusty Wallace is trying to get by Cherry Labonte. There he is. Matt, they got a chance?
BP on their last stop. The only adjustment, they pulled on the left front fender a little cosmetic damage, rubbing up against somebody. 4 tires, no changes. He said, if I can just get some help with the lap traffic, I've got a car that can definitely go to the front. Roger Penske on the radio just told him nice work as he moved around the 5. He's telling him to keep it nice and smooth. You've got time.
Yeah, he's got open racetrack now. He can see if he can run these guys down.
Jimmie Johnson all over Sterling Marlin for the lead. Johnson in 48, Marlin in 40.
And we see the raindrops on the camera lens. Can he get in front before it rains?
Here he comes. Got that inside lane.
I think Sterling's in trouble.
Yep. Tires.
Jimmie Johnson to the race.
Oh, and Jimmie goes in a little bit too hard and gets the car a little bit sideways, but Sterling really gave him a break there.
So with 60 laps to go, Johnson goes to the point, trying to make it back-to-back wins after taking the victory last Saturday night in Charlotte, North Carolina. Now the question is, can Rusty Wallace get to and through Sterling Marlin and catch up to challenge Jimmie Johnson? And what's the weather going to do? And will there be another caution? And.
Well, Rusty is definitely catching Sterling right now. But now that Jimmie Johnson is out front, he may just drive away. That clean air, real important here. Or, you know, a lot of places you would think, like you talked about earlier, BP, that make a big difference here in Martinsville, but it does.
I guess 117 miles per hour is fast enough for aerodynamics to play a part, as we see Kurt Busch going by the 43 car. The 42 also, Jamie McMurray went by 43. They're up in, what, 7th and 8th now?
Yeah, and just remember, Jeff Green just took the 2 tires on his last stop. But still, for the Petty team and the struggles they've had, it's been quite a day for Jeff Green. And for 5th place, Rocket Man's rolling.
Goes by the 19 of Jeremy Mayfield.
Now he's got some lap cars he needs to get by before he gets to Terry Labonte.
Into the final laps at Martinsville in the Subway 500. NASCAR on NBC. As soon as NASCAR is done, don't miss the U.S. Open of Supercross. As Ricky Carmichael, coming off an undefeated AMA motocross season, takes to the track. It's the U.S. Open of Supercross right after NASCAR on NBC.
And Rusty Wallace just drives to the inside of Sterling Marlin, takes over that 2nd spot. Can he run down the 48 of Jimmie Johnson? He's close.
Jamie McMurray still moving through traffic with Kurt Busch in tow.
Jamie's opening the door and Kurt's walking in.
That 6th place McMurray took from Mayfield. And now Kurt.
These guys have a sense of urgency now. Not only is the race winding down, but the weather has got them all thinking.
You see raindrops, you know it can end at any moment.
I'll tell you what, guys, Rusty Wallace is catching Johnson. It's just little bits at a time, but he's catching him. Look at those brake rotors glowing on Rusty's car. Matty's trying all he can.
Rusty Wallace can see the leader, but it's what he saw last night that's had him smiling for the last 18 hours. He's been on cloud 9. He saw his son Steven's big win last night in his UARA finale at Coastal Plains Speedway in Washington, North Carolina. He won from the pole after setting a new track record, and he led every lap. And we've got a spin on the race.
One of the championship chasers, Elliott Sadler's gone around in turn 3.
Is he stuck? There is some mud there. I walked by there this morning.
Oh, he's going to lose a lap, though.
He lost a lap.
Boy, it's hard to get these cars. If you stall these cars when they're hot, it's hard to get them refired.
Now, my understanding of the rule, he was the first car a lap down, but since he caused the caution flag, he can't be the lucky dog, right?
Right.
What happened to Elliott Sadler?
He tried to keep him hitting the 31 car, I believe, and spinning him out. Well, actually, he did hit the 31 car, but he tried to pull away from him, and that's when he spun out himself.
So back to 26th place for Elliott Sadler.
Exactly what happened.
And those rotors on Elliott's car is red, aren't they?
Yeah. Almost caught Michael Waltrip, too. He's on board, Michael.
Carl Edwards.
Yeah, Carl Edwards. See how close he is to the wreck. Go high, Carl. Good move.
So not going to be a day of hometown glory for Emporia, Virginia's Elliott Sadler, as he's going to take a hit in the championship standings with this finish.
All right, now what do you do?
I'm not coming in.
I think we've seen the last of these cars pit. I think Glover was right. He'd rather be third with no tires than 15th and tires.
Jeff Gordon's back in 11th, but that's 11 out of 25 on the lead lap. So you just, with the championship being what it is, he can't give up that track position to take tires and try and get a better finish in the race.
Stewart's going to come in. Labonte's going to come in.
Yeah, Stewart was back in 16th.
Yeah.
We'll see. Caution flag is out. Inside, 50 laps to go at Martinsville. Elliott Sadler in the spin cycle in turn 4. Back underway, 45 laps to go in Martinsville. Rusty Wallace now on Jimmie Johnson's back bumper and try to hang with him.
And the 12 car gets by Sterling Marlin. He goes about 2 or 3 wide in the corner, takes the spot away. Good move by the Rocket Man.
Third place for Ryan Newman. Marty?
And he made the move on the outside around Brian Vickers as well. They talked to him under the caution. Matt Moreland said, "You are by far the quickest car on that last run in those last few laps. You can still win this race. Get around the 40 car first, then focus on the 2s."
Okay.
Ryan Newman, who won 8 races a season ago, has had 12 finishes in the 20s or 30s this year and still made the championship chase.
Because he has been fast, he's led laps. And right now, Rusty Wallace has not been able to gain too much on that 48 car. Not been able to put that pressure on that he wants to.
48 car getting off the corner, a little bit better than Rusty Wallace. Rusty gets in pretty good. He slides through the center, and it looks like he can't get on the gas as early as Jimmie Johnson.
Jimmy makes that late entry in the corner and slows down a little bit in the middle, but boy, does he get off that corner like a rocket. He's doing a great job.
Shuffling going on back in line for position as Matt Kenseth tries to move up. Here come some of the guys who stopped and took tires under this caution. Tony Stewart, Bobby Labonte, they stopped and got tires under this last yellow flag, and they're trying to charge up through the field from about 16th restarting spot.
Terry Labonte about to lose another spot to the 19 car of Jeremy Mayfield, and also the 43. Jeff Green almost had position. Now he does.
At 7th place for Mayfield.
8th for Jeff. Terry Labonte goes back to 9th.
Oh, and behind them, Harvick finally gets by Jeff Gordon. Those guys have been beating on each other for the last couple laps.
That was for 10th place, Wally. Kurt Busch, by the way, went through Terry Labonte ahead of Mayfield and those guys we saw as well. So Kurt's up to 6th place. Dave?
Kevin Harvick has been hoping his car would come back to him on the last pit stop. His car was tight in the middle of the corners, but they didn't make any chassis adjustment because they were pretty sure the set of tires they were putting on would take care of it. But he got shuffled back, and now he's trying to work his way back to the front.
Well, I tell you, the 29 car has been quick. I think if he was up there with Rusty and the 40 of Jimmie Johnson, he might be able to run with him, but he's not up there. He's back in his pack, and trying to get through will be the rest of the day job.
Behind these guys, you've got Mark Martin trying to pick up a spot from Jeff Burton. That's 12th place. Burton is in the 30, Dave.
Every position important for Mark Martin, trying to win the chase for the Nextel Cup. Jeff Burton in front of him used to be his teammate, so he very gingerly talked to his crew about perhaps getting some help getting around his old teammate.
Hey, if you could tell Jeff I'm quicker than him and I really need to go. I don't want to use the bumper. You know, I can get him anytime going in, and I don't want to.
Trying not to move him out of the way, but to get a pass by talking to spotters.
Junior's difficult day continues. A spin in front of him in turn 2, and he's plowed into it. It was Kyle Petty who got sent around in a circle, and Junior hit him.
Left rear tires flat on the 8 car. And
don't be surprised if Earnhardt just drives out the gate and heads south.
Back to Kannapolis and call it a day, right?
Boy, that's what it feels like doing.
Man, he's got some damage to that car on the left side.
By the way, I know how much you love stats like these, Wally. We have now had more cautions in this race today than we have had in any other race this entire Nextel Cup season.
Well, it sure feels like it.
Marty.
Yeah, Wally, he can just go over the crossover gate, get right on 220 and go south.
That's
Is that
what
you're
I'm
saying?
thinking, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. A lot of left front fender damage. You're actually talking about taking it to the garage, and that is now what they will do. They will go to the garage for a second time today.
Well, if Junior doesn't win the championship, this is going to be a day he'll remember as having a lot to do with it.
45 spins and just backs right up into the door of Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Watch him on board, Dale Earnhardt Jr.
And Kyle gets spun.
Yeah, gets. Oh. Yeah, the 22 car of Scott Wimmer got in the back of 45 and spun him around.
Pit road,
So 32 laps to go. Not seeing any of the leaders pit. Robbie Gordon's the only one on the pit lane, besides Kyle Petty and Junior getting their damage evaluated. And in fact, Junior's gone to the truck in the garage.
You almost got to get. You almost have to start laughing when you get to this point. I mean,
yeah.
You know, it's like, gee, what else can you do?
And he might as well stay there because he can't gain another position, I don't think.
He can't gain any, and he can't lose any either.
So I think he just might as well, like you said, go across the gate and go down 220 south.
Going to be a tough day for Junior. He was 24 points behind Kurt Busch when the day started in the chase for the Nextel Cup.
There's his mulligan for the final 10.
Yeah. There's only one problem with that. If Kurt Busch doesn't use one.
Well, that's right. If he doesn't use one, all these guys could be in trouble, but so far they've all had a mulligan. Except Busch and maybe Gordon.
Clean it up over in turn number 2. We'll take a break. You're watching NASCAR on NBC. We are going racing with 28 laps to go here in Martinsville. And Jimmie Johnson with Rusty Wallace behind him, trying to take away the victory.
And both of them get by the, well, Rusty didn't quite make it. Yeah. He made it finally.
Yeah,
all right. Now Ryan Newman has made up all that distance, and
yeah, that's a guy they need to be worried about.
That's right. Matt Borland keeps telling him, mate, you're as good as anybody on these long runs.
Problem for him is that they haven't had any long runs here lately.
Yeah, they're not going to really get one now. If you're going to do it, you better do it right now.
Yeah, only about 26 laps to go in this 500-lap race.
They're not saving the brakes any longer.
No.
Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s car retired from the race. Officially, just now, accident.
It should be plural.
Yeah. Oh, Rusty drove that car in hard into turn 3, didn't he?
Not saving brakes anymore. What you have, you need to use up.
How about Jimmie Johnson out there knowing that Mr. Martinsville. Oh, got a spin. In traffic, turn 2, Joe Nemechek gets bumped and spun around and clobbered by Elliott Sadler.
Elliott Sadler could not see through the smoke.
Elliott Sadler, who had just gotten a lucky dog pass and gotten back on the lead lap at the last yellow flag. And now he needs a new radiator.
Yeah, a new oil cooler. He's knocking the oil line off.
Yep, time to get out.
Oh, man. This may be a green-white checker.
Saw that little flash of fire. Probably felt that little flash of fire when he started to drive away.
I wouldn't doubt it a bit. Plus the spotter was probably Brett Griffin's probably saying, "Get out of the thing, Elliott."
Nemechek is done also, obviously.
Just a guess on my part, but from judging by the look on his face, Elliott's not real happy.
One of those days.
Boy. So the 4th place driver in the chase for the Nextel Cup has troubles here in Martinsville today.
Looks like Joe gets tagged by Labonte. And then Sadler's up high. He cannot see. Just clobbers Joe.
I mean, look at all that smoke. We see Elliott back there, and there's room, but you can't see what's there. I mean, you're right. He was totally blind. He's lucky he didn't get it on the other side.
Joe Nemechek's ride.
Left.
Hey.
He said, "Well, I've dodged this one."
That's worse than the gear sound.
Wow.
Keep taking. Cautious out. No caution. Keep going. Now it's out now.
Oh, Carl Edwards has been around about 4 of those today, hasn't he?
I'm telling you.
Keep replaying those wrecks from his onboard camera and getting a very up-close view.
See the crew there looking at the car and trying to figure out if they need to try to repair it to get back on the racetrack. And my opinion would be load her up, boys.
Yeah.
Not going to happen.
That one's done.
So pit road is closed. It was open briefly and didn't really have any takers, and so they've closed it because where Elliott's car is at the pit exit.
There's Joe's car.
And they got a lot of liquid and a lot of debris to clean up over there. Next Saturday, the Breeders' Cup World Thoroughbred Championships coming to NBC. Remember Funny Side?
I remember him.
Got everybody's hearts all up trying to win the Visa Triple Crown a couple of years ago, 2003. Well, he's back on track for racing's richest day against defending Breeders' Cup Classic champion Pleasantly Perfect. Next Saturday, 1 Eastern, 10 Pacific, the Breeders' Cup World Thoroughbred Championships on NBC.
I wonder if Smarty Jones can race against those. He's not old enough, maybe, huh? He's a 3-year-old.
Smarty Jones retired.
Oh, he did, right? Didn't he? That's right.
Had the leg.
That's right.
Leg condition.
He's sitting on the beach, BP.
I can kind of relate to that leg condition thing right now. Well, what about Rusty Wallace? Can he do anything with Jimmie Johnson? What's his team think, Matt?
Well, Larry Carter, Rusty says the car has gone to the tight side, but is it too tight to make that move on the 48?
Well, I don't know. We've been pretty consistent all day. It looked like the 48, has kind of been a sleeper today. His car's been real good. Ryan Newman's car is real good right now. He's really stepped up. I'm not sure. We'll just have to see if we get enough laps to try to make a move on him, I guess.
Less than 20 to go, standing between Rusty and win number 8 here at Martinsville.
All right, they're going to open pit road again this time.
Well, I don't think. Terry Labonte has been dropping like a rock. He might come in and get some tires with just 20 laps to go. He might be able to pick up a couple of spots.
Nice job by Ryan Newman today, or Larry Carter, Rusty Wallace's crew chief, talking about the speed that Newman is showing here in the late going. But he has been very impressive.
Comes Terry.
Yep, Terry Labonte on pit road. That's a very good move by he and Jim Long.
Yeah, they don't have anything to lose there.
How about Tony Stewart? I think Dave wants to talk to us about Tony, who's running 15th.
Alan, I know he's got some fans out there who wondered where he went. He was running in the top 10. and then suddenly dropped off the planet. There was a period just about 100 laps ago where his car got extremely tight. They fought that at the beginning of the race. They had it cured one time, but that was the only time during the course of the day. He restarted, actually came in and pitted on lap 450, didn't make any changes, restarted 20th, and has worked his way back up to, as you said, the 15th position. Marty?
Well, Dave, a very frustrating day for Elliott Sadler. Frustrating day and a bad way to end it.
Yeah, very frustrating day. We just got beat on pitch strategy and got us in the back, and then Robbie just cut down on me and just spun us out, and just can't keep working from the back here at Martinsville. It's hard to do that. It's hard to stay out of trouble 500 laps doing that. It's just a very frustrating day. Have a top 10 capable car and just have to get caught in the back all day. Just the way it goes. Very frustrating. Takes us out of the championship, so our goal is to just try to win as many races as we can for the rest of the year.
And just not enough time to get the car fixed to get him back out. They would have to repair a radiator, and just not enough laps to get that done.
It'll be the first race this entire season that Elliott Sadler will not have been running at the finish.
And it's amazing. We see top speed of 117 miles per hour, and yet the crash is bad enough to put 38 car behind pit wall, the 8 car, and the 0-1 of Nemechek.
Hey, remember I was talking about that caution flag thing earlier?
Yeah, I'm just going to ask you, how many is that now?
Well, this is another new record for caution laps in a race at Martinsville. We've set that one today. Old record was 119. We've just gone to 119, so. Yep. It's been that kind of day. The new surface blues.
They had wasn't that a record yesterday in the truck race too? For caution laps?
Yeah, I think so.
A lot of them, I know that. All right, here we go. Lights are out, and we're going to go back green flag racing with about 16 laps to go.
Bumper time?
Nah.
No?
All these guys trying to get their tires cleaned up, get their carburetor cleaned out, make sure they will accelerate. And we know that Vickers in the 25 car is a teammate of the 48. He will cut him some slack going down in turn 1.
And Jimmie wants him there. You know, you think, oh, why is that 25 car? Jimmie Johnson wants him there so he can clear him, and hopefully Rusty won't.
That would be the plan, but no, it didn't work. Worked for the 12 car.
Rusty still had to run that high line a little bit, so it cost him a little bit.
15 to go when they come to the line.
That 48 guy, I thought he got loose, but the car just kicked out. He nailed it and got off a great exit off turn 4.
And judging by the intensity of things in traffic, I don't know that we're done with the yellow flag
yet. We may not be.
But we'll see.
42 car moves right on the back bumper of Ryan Newman now.
Jamie McMurray's team playing the contrarian strategy all day, doing what everybody else did not do on their pit stops. If the leaders came in, he stayed out. When the leaders stayed out, he came in.
That's good contrarian strategy.
I'm going to look that up when I get home. He's getting in the corners really good.
I think Alan just made up a new word.
I think not.
Ooh, it's getting... Tell you what, Jimmie Johnson's just not making any mistakes, and that's what we talked about earlier. Guys don't make many.
Next,
Rusty's hoping he does, but...
Sorry about that. Well, I was just going to say, Nextel Cup Series short track wins. Rusty Wallace, 25. Jimmie Johnson, 0.
And we got a spin up in the corner. The 99 and 31 both go round and round. And guess what? More caution flag laps. More caution flags.
If we're going to set a record, let's really go for it.
Yeah. Number 17. Yellow flag on the day. Scott Riggs will be your lucky dog. And the pace car will lead some more laps.
It's actually probably led more laps than anybody, hasn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Pace car?
Yeah.
Busch led 120, so now he's led 121 or 2, right?
The pace car has just taken over the lead for most laps led on the day.
Okay.
There you go.
Give him the bonus points to the pace car.
And Brett? Good for Brett. Does he get 5 points?
Carl Edwards has been around a lot of the wrecks today. This time he was in it.
Both those guys were sideways back in the straightaway. I mean, it's not funny to them, obviously, but...
Robbie hit the wall.
Off turn 2.
I can't explain that, Benny.
No,
I'm sorry, I can't explain that.
We'll give you one more try.
And inside, he's in there.
Now he's really in there.
Bobby Evans.
Robbie wheel hopped it.
And when he got onto that grass there, it separated the pit road and the racetrack.
And the mud, no grip at all down there in that mud.
That probably wasn't going to work out. All right, Marty.
Well, Matt Borland, these caution flag laps are not your friend, are they?
No, they're not. We're car's pretty good on a long run. We're just running out of laps here to do something, but get the best finish we can and take it home from there.
Believe it or not, guys, the last lap Ryan Newman turned, the fastest lap for him all race long.
Well, the only good thing about it now is they start single file on this restart. They won't have to worry about anybody being down on the low side because it's under 10 laps to go.
This is the 4th caution flag in 40 laps.
That's actually good for Rusty and company. It's probably not great for Jimmie Johnson. I think he'd like to have
a little buffer.
Yeah.
So setting the restart, which will be a single file restart with no lap cars to the inside of the leaders. Inside the final 10 laps of the race. And we have 26 cars on the lead lap.
Man, oh man.
So we've set records for the most caution flag periods in a race this season. We've topped the number of caution flag laps here in Martinsville. The previous record. And still waiting to see what little twists of plot we might have in these final laps.
Got to be the first time pace cars led the most laps in a race.
I don't know. I don't know if they don't really track that. Matt?
Now, Alan, talk about being between a rock and a hard place. Owner Roger Penske up on the spotter stand just had a conversation with Rusty. Rusty said, "Boss, you tell the 12 to stay off my bumper and I can win this thing." Now, what do you think the chances are he's actually going to pass that on to the 12?
Slim to none.
Probably pass on the message that a number of other car owners would pass on in the same situation.
Sorry, Rusty, your radio's breaking up.
Just don't wreck each other.
So Rusty weaving his car back and forth, trying to clean all debris that might be accumulated on those tires, get them as clean as he can, because you get down to turn 1. If it's on there, the car will just slide across the racetrack and not grip. We see him back and forth.
And he'll lose the spot because Newman will be there.
That's right. Gets off that bottom up just a few feet, he's going to lose a spot. Same thing with Jimmie Johnson, Ryan Newman, any of them.
You know, Rusty's going to lay back a little bit.
7 laps to go.
Green, green, green.
Oh, he almost left the door open. There's some...
Rusty on the outside, diving hard into the corner for the lead.
I think this is going to help Ryan more than anybody.
Oh, they bounce off each other.
Man, oh man.
So much for the little comment from the team owner.
Just
don't wreck each other.
Man.
Hey, Rusty was going for it. You got to give him that.
So he was trying to win.
He was trying to win, and he was going for it.
Now he's trying to regroup and knock the marbles off his tire, and Ryan Newman is going to try and regroup and go after Jimmie Johnson for the victory.
Jimmie Johnson smiling big because that's what he wanted to see in the mirror right there. All Jimmy's got to do now is just focus, just pay attention to hitting your marks. Don't even look in the mirror. Drive as hard as you can and don't make any mistakes, and you'll win the race.
Jimmie Johnson has a remarkable record here at Martinsville Speedway.
That 12 car is just about to blow up. Been seeing the smoke out of the tailpipe for several laps now, and that last lap, there it is again.
Yes.
Just about gone.
He's only got a couple miles to go.
Yep.
You don't think he wound it out a little tight on that restart, do you?
Well, no, I saw it before the actual last caution flag. And we got Terry Labonte spun off turn 4, but he gets it going again.
No caution.
No caution. Coming to 2 to go. Jimmie Johnson finished 35th in his first race here in Martinsville. Since then, though, 6th, 9th, 2nd, 4th. He led 104 laps in the April race here. They did not pit at the end of the race when some others did. The fresh tires beat him. This time his pit crew has been superb. Got him out ahead of Kevin Harvick a little earlier in the race, keeping him in the hunt. And a good driver and a fast race car have gotten them to within 1 lap of their second straight win.
Boy, McMurray is all over it. Got him, bumped him, and moved Ryan up. Now, this ain't over yet.
Now, because he's got to go through this corner now, doesn't he?
Now, Newman will drive by and bump him. Try to take the spot back, but McMurray hangs on to it.
Great race for second to the finish, all the way to the checkered flag. But it's going on behind Jimmie Johnson, who picks up his 6th win of 2004.
Awesome job, guys. Awesome job.
And Johnson's championship bid.
Now, Rusty's going to go up and have a word with Ryan Newman.
Oh, we got him wrecked in turn 1 down here after the checkered flag, too.
Wow, Newman just drove into, I don't know who drove into who, but. Did Rusty drive into him? Well, interesting team meeting.
That'll keep Mr. Penske busy here after the race. That seems to be the new vogue in burnouts. Put the nose against the wall and let it rip.
Tell you what, not a lot of room on this racetrack to do the burnouts.
No, that's right.
You can do some damage to your race car bouncing off the inside or outside retaining wall.
So Jimmie Johnson started the day in 8th place in the chase for the Nextel Cup, 227 points behind the leader Kurt Busch. Unfortunately for Jimmy, Kurt finished 5th today, so just like last Saturday night at Charlotte, he won the race and only gained 20 points. He's going to win the race today and not gain very many more than that either, especially since Kurt got the bonus points for leading the most laps. 6th win of 2004 for Jimmie Johnson. He led today 2 times for 67 laps.
And Jeff Gordon comes back to finish in 9th position. Great job by he and Robbie Lewis, that entire team.
Yeah, Gordon worked for that today.
Another rally. Matt Kenseth, another rally.
Sure did.
Tony Stewart kind of struggled on after looking strong early.
That was Tony spun down in turn 1 there on the after the checkered flag, I believe.
Yeah, Tony and Ricky.
He and Ricky Rudd, yep. Dale Earnhardt Jr., Elliott Sadler failing to finish today. You saw their late race problems. And the first few drivers out of the race. And the chase for the Nextel Cup. 24 was the gap first to second starting the day. Good points day for Kurt Busch with 4 races to go.
Well, I'll say.
Let's go to Bill Weber.
Thank you, Alan. Normally, we would go to Victory Lane at this point for the post-race celebration. That will not be the case today. I'm with Jim Hunter, who's NASCAR's Vice President of Corporate Communications. And, Jim, you have some very sad news.
Yes, we've been made aware. The FAA reported they lost contact with a Hendrick Motorsports airplane inbound for Martinsville earlier today, Bill. We don't have a lot of details or a lot of information, but I know the FAA and the NTSB are investigating, and we've been in contact with Rick Hendrick, and we're in contact with his entire organization, and we just don't have a lot of details at the moment. But we're going to say an extra prayer for everyone in the Hendrick organization at this time.
And you have been waiting throughout the afternoon for information on what may have occurred.
Yes, apparently a plane was en route to Martinsville, and they lost it on radar, and that's all the information we have at this time.
Okay, Jim, thank you very much. So that's the latest from down here. Let's go back up to Alan.
All right, Bill, thank you. And again, Jimmie Johnson driving for Hendrick Motorsports and has climbed from his car, and they've taken Jimmy off to talk with him, so we'll not attempt to interview he or any of those other drivers at this point. We'll respectfully give them the room they deserve at this very difficult moment. That's heartbreaking news. And of course, we'll have more information as NBC News stays on top of the situation for you. Later today, we'll have the NBC Allstate Sports Desk. We'll provide more details later on in the afternoon.
I mean, when we lost Papa Joe a couple of months ago, that broke my heart. And something happened with these guys. If anything did happen with somebody like Hendrick, it would be...
We'll stay on top of the situation for you and offer our thoughts and best wishes for all of the Hendrick Motorsports organization. So that's it at Martinsville today. Next weekend, it's on to Atlanta. Saturday, the NASCAR Busch Series on TNT. Next Sunday, 12 noon Eastern Time. Home Depot presents Nextel Cup Series racing on NBC, starting with Discover Card Countdown to Green. Jimmie Johnson wins today here at Martinsville Speedway, his 6th win of 2004. Kurt Busch opening a bigger lead in the chase for the Nextel Cup with 4 races to go in the season. For Wally Dallenbach, Benny Parsons, and Bill Weber, Alan Bestwick saying so long from Martinsville.